Hello, everyone. It's me, Bro C, on a Tuesday night. Oh, yeah, whatever. So, things have changed somewhat significantly for me and my brother. He's not so worried about it. I'm a little more worried. But some changes are coming. So much so that we've been looking at rental places, we've been looking at hotels. We really have our feet to the fire here. We've been hitting the pavement. And, we've seen some places, some nice little condos, some nice little apartments. Then, yeah, we could pay the rent, we could pay the utilities, no problem. Despite that fact, there's a caveat. Our monthly income must be 3 times the rent. And that's the rub. That's where we get...
Whatever you're blathering on about. Did you tell them about the caveat of the rent? Did you tell them the important stuff? I'm just kidding. No, yeah. I think you explained it well.
Yes, I know.
What was it? Like his apartment.
Yes.
They got a great deal. Let's talk.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give it a minute. Let's give it a minute. I'm tired. I go back to work the rest of the week. I'm tired. I made a video. Haven't uploaded it yet.
Do they all know you have a job now?
They should. But I'll upload the video. I don't want to talk about the job. I can upload the damn video when I get a fucking chance.
Yes.
If I get a fucking chance. Oh.
Yeah.
You said I've been at it all day. My shrink, when I saw him, was like, you seem really tired. I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. Yeah. Oh, this place is screwed up. But I don't know how to talk about the job. I'll post the video about that crap. But where were we? Oh, let's take a look. Well, yeah, I should have click on the comment section.
Oh, my mistake.
I haven't done a, what do you call it? A sit-down stream in quite a while. StreamYards, what happened with StreamYards? It's like, there's like, create with AI. Like, what the hell is this? Oh, do you want to do it in portrait or landscape or both? Well, you can't do both unless you pay for it. I'm like, one of the things I liked about StreamYard, it's a fairly simple program. There's a learning curve, but it's not terrible. My first complaint was, what do you call it? Are we back? No, I think I accidentally hit remove. Okay. I liked StreamYard. My complaint was they would move shit around. Like, it's all the same shit. Just, okay, this used to be here. Now it's there. Now they're adding all these weird... If it gets too jacked up, it's gonna... The beauty of StreamYard was its simplicity. But anyway, where were we? Well, that's always been my job, and I'm talking about my other job as an overnight grocer at a supermarket. I'll upload a video about that because I don't feel like talking about it right now. We're going to talk about my brother. He worked today. But it's like, I got to go back to work the rest of the week. We managed to go see. It's a long story. What did you tell me? We'll talk. Yeah, we'll let him come on.
Click on Thule.
Click
on Thule's comment. Yeah.
No. It's not for me specifically. It's this place. Did you explain? Okay. Got a great deal. I saw a great offer on this apartment. Actually, it's like a complex. It's owned by some corporation.
Yes.
And we went to the leasing office, and there was a lady. She was very friendly. She was an old white lady, 60s,
mid late 60s.
Old white lady. Yeah. So she was very clerical and straightforward. And she says, "Okay, we got there's this effectively." It's like, okay, normally what happens, at least in this part of the world, if you want to rent an apartment, the rent, this place, first of all, okay, let's start. This place was fairly cheap by Jersey standards. That's cheap by Jersey standards. And there was a great deal. And they don't know when the deal is going to end. It's all corporate. They don't know when the deal is going to end. The deal was, normally what happens is when you rent an apartment, you've got to give them a security deposit, which is usually a month and a half's rent. So what would that be in this case? Let's do the math. $2,600. What's half of that plus to it? It'd be like 13. So $2,900. Right. 2, 3, 6. So they would say, okay, give us $3,900 as a deposit and give us $2,600 for the first month's rent. That's what they would normally say.
Yes.
This was a very, very good deal where they said,
the
deposit isn't a month and a half. It's just 1 month. So all you have to do is give us $2,600 instead of giving us 30. What was it?
39.
Instead of $3,900, you just give us $2,600 a month, and there's no rent the first month. The first month is free. And I said, oh, so basically there's no deposit. And she goes, well, yes, there is. And I said, I understand. Technically, we're giving you a deposit, but for all intents and purposes, the money we got to give straight up is 1 month's rent. We don't have to do the month and a half shit. So this is like, wow. So how much would it have been in total? We would have to give it. Let's share. Where's my calculator? Let's do this. So, 2,600 plus half of itself, which would be 1,300, equals a 30. No, did I get this wrong? What did I do?
I think you did. Do 2,600 times 1.
Divided by 2. 1,300 plus 2,600. The deposit would be that's right. So the deposit normally would be. I got it right. The deposit would be that, and we'd still have to pay for the first month so we'd be paying right. So the deposit would be $2,600 a month for 2 bedrooms. The deposit would be $3,900 plus we'd have to pay the first month's rent. Yes. So we'd have to pay $6,500 right off the bat. This special offer, and they told me they don't know when it's going to end. It could end in December. It could end probably when these units are full. It's not going to be around forever. They were saying, but it was like, so basically, effectively, from our perspective, we don't have to give them a deposit. Yes, technically, we're giving them a deposit. Technically, they're going to hold $2,600 as opposed to $3,900. Regardless, instead of paying $6,500 like we normally would have to, we just pay the first month's rent, the equivalent of, they call it deposit. So everything sounds good. Everything sounds good on paper. My brother and I could swing that with now. I'm working now. We could swing that. Everything was sounding good, and then at some point, your heart sank into your stomach.
Thule understands it.
Yes.
Click on what Thule is saying.
I want you to take the mouse. Go ahead, because I'm tired too. We're both very tired here.
Yes, okay. Oh, I understand what you're saying. In order to rent an apartment, you need 3x rent monthly income, and yes, that's where we have trouble.
So, my brother and I, we can make enough together with these shit jobs to afford the rent,
afford the utilities, the cable bill, whatever. We could make it happen. We could afford the place, but we need 3 times the rently income every month, which we don't have.
Right, in income. So in other words, before taxes, our monthly income has to be 3 times that. So what would that be? Let's just do the math here. So if the rent is 2,600 times with 3
equals
7,800. So you have to make 7,800 a month, which we don't. If you divide by 2, we don't make that much per month.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And if we made that much, we'd probably try to buy a townhouse. Yeah, because
that's what I'm thinking. It's like, okay, let's say I have a really, really, really good job, and I could, now it's not just about, because we could afford the rent, but you need this 3 times the income bullshit requirement. It's like, well, if I made that kind of money, why would I want to rent a dump like this in the first place?
Yeah.
In other words, it's like,
it's nonsensical.
It's nonsensical. It's like the people who make that kind of money don't want to rent it. Why would they bother? So they're really excluding by this 3. I can understand them wanting a background check, wanting them to know how much we make where we work. That's fine. How much we have in savings. But for them to say, whatever the rent is, you got to be able to make. You have to be making 3 times that. 3 times that per month, and together we don't quite make that.
No,
we probably make 2 something. 2 times something, but this 3, it's like almost like it's almost like a fucking tease, like dangling the fucking carrot. No, the one Dev Pike showed me that's too far out of range, and I'm sure the same thing would probably apply there. I don't know for sure, but a lot of these places in this area have this 3 times rule. Whatever the rent is, your monthly income, gross income, must be 3 times whatever it is you're paying in rent. So in other words, you can cover the rent 3 times over, which is ridiculous. We can cover the rent and still have money and money for utilities and cable and gasoline for our cars and food. We still have money left over. We can afford it, but we don't make 3 times the rent per month. That's the problem. We can cover rent easily, but how much are we making? Like 2 and change. We're not making 3 over. Yeah. Because I'm a spurg who works shit jobs. I mean, haven't been watching the past year or two, wherever it's been. I mean, we're asking me stupid fucking questions.
And hey, Totem, how was Africa?
Plus, even if you have like a bunch of money in the bank, they're not really going on savings. They want to know what your earnings are, you know? So even if I hit the lottery, I could try to say, well, listen, I have $1 million in the bank. Maybe it would butter them up, but they're assuming that everyone renting from them works, and they want to know that whatever your job is, you're making 3 times. You can pay the rent 3 times over in theory.
Yeah, I know.
So even though the rent is only $2,600, you have to be able to pay. Let's do the math here. Yeah, they want you to basically be saying you better be bringing in $7,800 per month. $7,800 per month. Even though the rent is, a third of that, you have to have in your earnings potential 3 times that, which we do not. No, that's too crazy. I'm like, we can try to talk with them, but they're probably going to say, listen, because you can probably negotiate with a private landlord, but this is some corporation that owns these condo apartments things. It's like they're gonna be like, well, no, but we'll talk with them. But yeah. Otherwise, it's great. Instead of normally having to pay $6,500 like right out of the bat just to get in there, all we have to do is pay effectively 1 month's rent. Yes, technically, the rent is free. The $2,600 goes to the deposit, which would normally be 1.5 times that. But from our perspective, it's like we just start. We don't. It's basically like not having to pay a deposit, not having to pay the entry fee. We just pay $2,600, and we keep doing it every month, which we can do. But this fucking, you better be earning 3 times the amount is where the problem.
That's messed up.
That's where the problem comes in. But so we might not stay on too long. But I figured let's talk about this because Bro C, he's getting tired. I'm tired. We're here. You got a hair? Did you see his haircut? Did anyone notice it? Did anyone comment? No one noticed. Look, come close. Closer. So it's like his hair. Like, see, I'd probably get my haircut too because it's getting kind of shaggy, but weather's getting cold. But Rosie got a haircut.
Buzzed it all down.
Well, in any environment, there'll be rich people and poor people. We see it going on now with the big, beautiful bill. Let's kick people off of Medicaid so that we can give tax breaks to the uber wealthy. So in order for one man to be super duper wealthy, there've got to be a bunch of men who are like peasants. So the richer a country, what it really means is we have more millionaires and billionaires per capita, which means we have more poor people per capita. You guys don't get that. You guys abroad, this is from an ink. I pulled an ink cartridge out. This is just red ink from ink cartridge in a printer. You guys look up and say, wow, in America, you got these billionaires. Wow, if only I lived in America. You fail to look down and say, oh, for every one billionaire, there's a bunch of fucking peasants on the bottom. So for every American, if America has that many billionaires, it has that many more peasants. You guys don't get it. Because you look up, you gotta look down. There's more to being an American. It's like when people, I remember some Chinaman who said something like on the internet, like, I wish I live in America. Life really hard in China. If I live in America, I have pretty blonde girlfriend, and I drive Corvette, and I do this and that. And it's like the idiot thinks that what 90210 is like reality for everybody. It's like, you fucking idiot. They say Americans are ignorant, but the stupidity of people outside this country. You watch Beverly Hills 90210.
Television shows and movies, and they think they know what it is.
They think they know what it is. And they think if they were here, they would automatically get that too. Like we all get it. So it just shows your own ignorance. Yes, Americans are ignorant. Non-Americans are even more ignorant. It is what I've come to learn in life. Do we want to repeat all that? Because I don't feel like it. We found a really good deal on this apartment, but the caveat is you got to earn 3 times. The rent is $2,600, which is cheap for Jersey, but you got to have $7,800 per month in earnings to be able to rent it. Three times.
If you had that much money,
why would you rent?
You would mortgage a house or a townhouse. You wouldn't rent there.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause, 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 'cause,
I don't understand this means. Force fed makes more than. Oh, it means horse head. Well, no, horse head's a normie with a great job, and he's getting another job. I think he's going to take the Colorado job, but he checked out the Washington job. Yes, horsehead is, but you guys always call him a Chad. So you're saying, well, horsehead's an American, you guys are American, it should be the same. It's like saying, well, Chad bangs chicks left and right. How come you ugly fuck can't do the same thing? All men are not created equal. So I understand what the fuck you're even saying here, Totem. Exactly. Just be like horsehead, bro. Oh yeah, that's what I chose to be this. Yeah. I could have been married with a wife and a kid and a great job, and I chose this. Yeah, okay.
Click on horse, and what horse is saying. It's becoming more and more common. I would imagine that, in the Northeast here, the crowded, overpopulated, all the people, that's kind of been normal for a while. But even
in Texas or Colorado,
like even out west, even Horsehead is noticing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why Dev Pike meant well. A for effort. I'm not knocking Pike, but he showed me a bunch of places which were at first he showed me a bunch of senior only. I had to explain you got to be 55 plus. They don't count. He didn't show me like a down the shore rental. We own a house down the shore. We rent it out to families during the summer. In the off season, you can rent here. That's not a long term rental. Then he found a place that looked good, but again, this 3 times rule applies. So it's not just even our own stupid. I haven't talked to my mother. God, probably months. But I remember about a year ago, she's like, I found some places. I think you can afford this dump. And it would say, okay, I say, yeah, Ma, we could afford the rent, sure, but we can't afford 3 times. Like, so, yeah. So this is like, oh, it was it's almost like, wow, we can move in it. Oh, the landlord wants to kick us out. That's another thing. He's coming to, I haven't seen him. He doesn't live around here. He's coming to visit in December. I emailed him. I said, listen, man, what's your plan? What do you want to do? And he said, well, we'd like to, have the house vacated by February or March so we can start doing work. And I told my brother, don't panic. We're not going to be here all next year, but I'll tell the asshole, I'm not moving out in winter. We've been good to you. If we got to stay till fucking June or July, that's fucking life. You can do your renovations in August. I don't need this shit. So I will fight him on it. I will fight him on it. So I'm not worried about that, but it's like, damn. Now explain, there are affordable housing places, but you gotta get on a waiting list.
Yes, the waiting list is 4 years.
Well, no, stop. One place I went to they told me 2 or 3 years. Another place only told me 6 to 8 months. So if we apply now, and if she was being truthful, maybe you're getting tired. We got to go together. Me working nights and him working days. We're like 2 ships passing in the night. You and I, we did today. I'm glad we went today. I brought a notebook. We learned a lot. Now you're digesting the process. It's been a while since we did this. We got to try it for one of these, low income places. But you got to get on a wait list. So 4 years now. So we'll try that place over in the town. Yes, and then we'll see if they take us over in because the town is, they told me 6 to 8 months. So if we apply there, and let's just say they're being truthful. If I apply now, December, it probably won't be processed till December, January. June, if we leave here in June or July and a place doesn't come available till September, we can just stay at a hotel or motel for like a month or two. But that's too expensive to do long term. Yes, the last time he and I were in a motel room together was in Greencastle, Pennsylvania, and that was a fucking nightmare for both parties. Yes. That's cheap for Jersey. And like I said, normally it would be, where's all that stuff? Normally they would want a deposit. The deposit, we want $2,600 for rent, and we also need 1.5 times that, which would be $3,900. So the grand total just to move in for the first month would be $6,500. And then after that, every month you'd pay $2,600. $6,500 to start. They're saying the first month is free, and the deposit's only the rent amount, not 1.5 times. So basically, you just pay. This is actually a cheap deal, $2,600, no more, no less, and just keep paying that every month. No, technically it is a deposit, but the deposit is a discounted deposit, and the first month is free. So it's basically we just pay $2,600 every month. That we can do, and that's cheap for Jersey, but we don't earn 3 times. We can't pay it 3 times over per month. Even though we don't have to pay $2,600, you got to be able effectively to earn 3 times as much. Even though it's only $2,600, you've got to be able to theoretically afford a $7,800. That's what they're saying. Rent is $2,600, but you've got to prove you can afford at least $7,800. If you can afford a $7,800 place, then we'll rent you this one for $2,600. And it's like such fucking bullshit. And he should know better. He's in Maryland, but I think his parents helped him get the place he's in. I always get that vibe. Okay, that's great. $600 less. That's wonderful. But in Maryland, do you still have to you still have to make 3 times the amount? How did you get your place? Did you find it by yourself, or did your parents help you get into it? I'm generally curious because you've said weird things too. Like you don't understand minimum wage. You strike me as someone who's you're a nice guy, but you're kind of out of touch with, Well,
you get a place for $2,000, but do you need to earn $6,000?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Explain that. Yeah,
$2,000 per month, but you must make at least $6,000 per month to rent. Do you understand? $2,000 per month, but you must make at least $6,000. So you're not going to pay them $6,000, but in order to pay them $2,000, you got to prove you can at least afford it 3 times over, which is where the problem is coming in. Are you understanding? Jesus Christ!
Click on Horsehead.
You go ahead. You click on Horsehead. I'm making another beer. Here we go. Another beer. One more beer.
Yeah, one more beer.
Well, you still sip that a little bit.
$700 a month is around $95,000 a year combined. Yeah, that's insane. Right. Now, Rafterman. No, my mom. My mom gives me money. Okay.
No money. Okay, you're doing a terrible job. Don't click on anyone else anymore. Yes, together. Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, great. By Jersey standards, this place is cheap. In Maryland, that's why I think Rafterman, I like you. It's not just that. You have a poor. I thought he was going to say, "Whoa, down here in Maryland, it's like $1,200 or something." Okay, so it's $600 less. Yes, Jersey is $600 more expensive, but still, in Maryland, do they still require the 3 times rent rule? You rent a place. Do you know? Do you remember? That's why I asked. Did someone rent the place for you? That's why I'm confused.
Did your parents co-sign?
Yeah. I'm sure. I know you work. You're a 1099. I understand all that, but did your parents co-sign the lease or something? Or that's what I'm trying to understand. How do you have no idea? So yes. So imagine $2,000 per month. Oh, great! He and I can afford that. Between ourselves, we can afford that. But you got to be making $6,000 per year. Whoa, $6,000 per month. Like $95K per year. Whoa! If I made that kind of money, I wouldn't be wasting time in this shithole. Because they live in a different state, Totem. This is the USA. It's continental in size. You don't think of the United States as a country the way you do Sweden or Norway or Denmark. Think of it as a continent, okay? American states are comparable to European countries, and every state has different rules and regulations. Some are cheaper. Jersey's very expensive. So you need to understand, it's like saying, well, it's expensive to live in Stockholm. Well, but how come the guy down in, name some shithole in Bucharest is paying half as you? Well, because it's like apples and oranges. America is continental in size. Okay, you're asking me why people in fucking Missouri, where the fuck they're from. It's like going from fucking Sweden down to Zagreb or something like that to Yugoslavia. It's like you're American. Again, we were saying earlier, they say Americans are so ignorant. Fair enough. Non-Americans are even more ignorant. Okay, you're just proving it, Totem, you moron. Now you can click. Now you can start.
Look at Hoyt.
Click.
You click. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, of course. The housing market is ridiculous.
Right.
And in a very, popular place like Washington, you're out of touch. Click on Rafterman. I mean, there are apartments I moved during COVID. My mom may have. Yeah, she most definitely did co-sign. You had someone else help you out. Wow. Just wow.
And we're not making fun of you. We're saying that based on the ignorant state. It's like someone must have taken care to get you in there. You're like Todd. That's why I admire Todd.
It goes back to Todd.
Right.
Todd had a lot of help from his parents. That's the only way he achieved what he achieved.
And I'm not knocking the dude. I would have done the same if I had the opportunity. I'm not knocking him or you. I'm just saying it's different when you got to do it by yourself. Okay. And based on the questions you're asking me, gee, that's pretty expensive. 3 times. It's clear that someone helped you out if you don't know these things. You didn't get your apartment by yourself, did you? Okay, yeah.
Yes. Rafterman had help.
Todd had a lot of help.
Had a lot of help.
Well, no, by American standards, Jersey and Maryland are some of the smaller states. But I hear what you're saying. It's big enough that there are different areas. But no, this 3 times rule applies in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say we find a place really, really cheap far away from here. We'd have to quit our jobs and hopefully start again down there. A cheap place that doesn't have a 3 times the rent rule. So it's like,
But even Cassandra is saying that that's normal, even out in Arizona. That's fucking messed up.
We could do 2, maybe even do saying maybe 2.5, maybe, but we can't do 3.
No, we can't.
We can afford the rent, but we can't do this 3 thing. So it's not just the rent.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to earn 3 times the rent. And I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah, it's messed up.
I don't recall the last time we lived on our own, that wasn't a thing.
No,
then again, if you deal with an independent landlord, you can, negotiate.
It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a codified thing. It was kind of spoken.
But now
about
this place with
1.5 was what we
right. But this place being corporate, I'm not going to be able to negotiate. The ladies are going to be like, well, sorry, we just work for this company. Yeah. No, you're not understanding. I'm not talking about the money, you idiot. I know you work with a 1099. You've clearly never really worked wage slave jobs, and you didn't get the apartment on your own. That doesn't mean she gave you money. It means, did she handle the paperwork for you?
She vouched for you.
Right.
She said, hey, I'm his mother. If he messes up or can't do anything, I'm here. You have me as a backup. So no, she never gave you money. She never paid you rent, but she signed a legal document saying that if you mess up, she will do that. So even though she never helped you out, she verified that she would help you out if needed be.
And that's kind of the thing. And I'm not knocking you, but it's like, my mother may have co-signed. I don't remember. Well, clearly your mother was involved in the process somehow. I can tell you, if you ask me, is my mother going to co-sign my lease, my brother's lease? The answer is no. There's nothing to remember. We know our mother's not involved. So clearly your mother was involved in your process, and I'm not knocking you. I'm trying to educate you. Did she? I don't even know what co-signing is. It's like
you're very, very fortunate that your mother helped you out.
And you're very naive to how your mom. I guess your mom handled you. Son, you've got to pay. Okay, I got the money, but I'll take care of all the bureaucracy. Exactly. That's what it sounds like.
Your mother took care of the 3 times the monthly income amount. And yes, you can afford the rent. You can afford the utilities. You can afford the HOA fills, but you cannot afford 3 times the rent. But your mother signed in for that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
So yes, when Totem says, why can't you be like Horse said? Well, if I were better looking, had a good job, and had a wife whose parents were happy to help. So you got lucky. Sometimes, you got that I fucking hate you. Like the father, the pissy father. My little girl is too good for you. I never approved of your marriage. You're lucky. You've got a father-in-law who actually likes you. Could you imagine if the old man didn't like you, or if he was poor, either or, you would have had that $25K. So you're very lucky that your wife's parents had money and that they liked you and were happy to help. So Totem asks some very silly questions which show how ignorant non-Americans are to life in the United States. It's amazing, the ignorance. Like Totem, don't ask me or my brother.
Even Americans are ignorant. Click on what Rafterman is saying. That big thing. Yeah, read it.
All right, Rafterman says, he thinks we're attacking him. We're not.
We're not. No.
I have worked tons of wage slave jobs. I also don't think she co-signed. All I remember is she came, his mother. She came with me to the apartment. Okay, right off the bat, our mommy isn't coming with us. I did the opposite. Basically, what your mommy did for you, we did for our mommy. And that fucking ingrate bitch, we had to play adult for our fucking retard mother. You had the opposite. Your mommy coddled you. I'm great. I'm happy for you. But all I remember is she came with me to the apartment. Yeah, she isn't the kind of person to help out when it comes to creditor money. For the last fucking time, stop saying creditor money. Oh, Christ. Oh, my God.
Yeah, no. So basically, Rafterman's mother was a co-signer to his apartment. She was the individual who said, if my son fails, I have the money to back him up.
And who knows, maybe she wouldn't have helped out if you needed it, but she's like, I want to get this boy out of the house. Sure, I'll co-sign just to get you in the apartment. But your mother did more than you realize.
And Rafterman doesn't know any the wiser. So that's why he's saying this nonsense.
Right. Like Totem knows none the wiser of how life in America works. Why can't you be like Horse said?
Well, like Todd had his parents to back him up. you're coddled and you're cushioned. You don't know the reality of what's going on.
Right.
Rafterman's mother helped him out and said, yes, I'll pay if you can't pay. So even though Rafterman can make rent and can make utilities, he cannot make the 3 times the rental amount every month. And he doesn't know because
he doesn't know any of that
happened yet. And as Cassandra is saying, she always had a co-signer until COVID.
When she moved in with Seymour, who pays all the bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's got a good job under contract with the government.
Because she could never do that.
It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. Instead of kisses, we get triggered. Instead of kisses, we get... It's a hard knock life. I hate musicals, but I was thinking of the Jay-Z version of that Orphan Annie song. How's it go? Instead of kisses, we get kicked. Instead of treats, we get tricked. Or the other way. Instead of treats, we get tricked. Instead of kisses, we get kicked. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us.
And most of you starlings are oblivious to this.
That's right. When I first discovered Todd, I was asking him all these questions. I thought he was a fucking genius. Yeah. How do you do that? I'd love to have your lifestyle. And all his starlings and his followers were like, yeah, Fed, how dare you ask Todd that? Because they were all coddled by their mommies and daddies. They wanted to talk about fucking video games and tennis and e-girls and, Stoya Destroyer. And it's like, that's all cool. But I mean, can we talk about some grown-up shit? Because this affects me, and I love this man's philosophy, but how dare you? Me mom took care of all that. I don't know anything about this stuff, but I don't like you asking it. Todd, let's go back to talking about video games. It's like
I live in a socialized democracy where I get indefinite unemployment, and then I don't have to work. How fucking dare you, Western Todd? Yeah.
Cassandra says she can never do 3 times inside OC. Oh, she means Orange County, California. But I know what she means. And yeah, it's hard here in Jersey, too. I mean, this is like, the Northeast, the Boston to D.C., more specifically, New York City to Philadelphia. This is, believe it or not, more Americans probably live in this region. Yeah. It's a bunch of tiny little states. But if you put them all together, it would be big. If you put all the small states together, it would be like bigger than California in terms of, So this is probably a very, the poltergeist. It gets angry. It gets angry. That's why we have to get married, boyos. Yes. Good luck with that, Rafter Man. Dude, I think I've been cursed long. I think the voodoo lady herself was a product of this never-ending curse that is my existence. So she was, a symptom, not the cause. If that shocked you, that's the kind of shit I go through on a fairly regular basis. That was the first time you guys saw it. The first time I recorded it, I said, fuck this. I've gone through enough of this shit in life. I'm going to record this. That kind of shit happens to me all the time. When you're an ugly fucking spurg, weirdo, crazy people, they can keep themselves together around the normies, but a little deviation, they fall apart and they project their fucked up fantasies. You're following me around. You people. I'm by myself. You people have been following me around for years. I'm like, I've never seen you before. She had this weird fantasy in her head, which she keeps together. When she's around normies, she can keep it together. All it takes is a little... He's a little off because he's a spurg. He must be one of those people who are injecting me and putting it. So you think that's the first time something like that's happened to me? That's a minor drop in the bucket compared to some of the shit I've had to live through. Are you people starting to get it slowly but surely? Probably not. But well, again, the fact that you think that there are plenty of people living in these places, so they must be making it.
Exactly.
It shows your own. I'm not making fun of you. Just how to touch you are. How lucky. Really, you're oblivious. You got to take don't take what you have for granted here. Your mother helped you out more than you realize. Because everyone else, even the guy in Texas moving to Colorado, or what? By the way, where are you moving to, horse? You're going to Texas, or you're going to Colorado, or are you taking the Washington job? You're not sure yet. But even in, the guy, Texas, Colorado, Washington State, and the girl in Arizona are saying the same thing. Well, I don't know about Arizona, but in Orange County, California, this is very common in the heavily populated areas of America, this 3 times rule. And Maryland might not be as populated as Jersey, but it's still the Northeast. It's not like it's like Montana or Idaho or something. So I'm starting to think, Rafterman, there's a lot of stuff going on that he doesn't know of. He's kind of like, ignorant, but it's like, No, a pair of kids working at McDonald's wouldn't even have an opportunity. They probably wouldn't even be able to make the 2,600.
No, not at all.
Unless they were like full time in some management training program. No, no. It's not just the wage; it's also the hours. Part-time kids working at McDonald's are probably working like 20 hours a week. No. Again, you don't know anything about life in America. A proper job for my age. Well, I'm an overnight grocery. Children can't work that job. It's all I wouldn't see. In fairness, while it's a shitty low wage, what do you call it? Wage slaving job. Grocery stores have never, ever, ever been stocked by teenagers. You go to a grocery store in the afternoon, you see some high school kids dicking around. That's not how a grocery store gets filled. These grocery stores for decades. There's some old timers there. They make good money now because they've been there for years. And with the union, they make a lot of good money. It's always been grown men at night, unload the truck, break it down. But you guys don't see that because the store is closed. But no, children don't make a grocery store run. You guys are nuts. We will have a panel seance one of these days. By all means, if you agree to come on, you got to be there too, man. Show your face, man. I want you on my panel. We'll do a seance. We'll dim the lights. We'll get the crystal ball. Whatever you want to do, we'll do it, man. But you got to be there. You promise me you're going to be there? Genius expert you are. Okay. And Cassandra, how come you were making so much then, but less now? They paid more in Southern California, or you had a much better job? I think you were probably making a little bit more. I think your boyfriend was the guy paying for it, just like Seymour's paying for it now. And that's not a criticism. We can be honest. We were talking once, and I said, you said you pay all your bills. I'm like, well, you live with Seymour. You guys split the rent? No, he pays it all. So, you're very lucky. I'm not a woman, and I'm not a horse head with a high tier normie with a wife with a loaded father who likes me. We don't all have the same opportunities in life.
No, we do not.
Have you learned nothing from playing in these spaces? All right, I'm going to give you one more of that because I can tell you're tired. Do you have water? Do you have water in your room?
Yes, I do.
They'll go to bed in the next 5-10 minutes. We're going to 11 o'clock. Get some sleep. You got to be late for work. It ain't worth the DUI. So you got to be late. Be late. But I said I want to do this because I might slow down with streaming because I'm working so much that
we might be homeless.
We might be homeless soon. That I might not be able to do this too often. I mean, I think we'll be good. We're definitely going to be good till March. But I can probably push the landlord to the summertime. But we got to get out of it anyway. So it's a good, what's it called? Put your feet to the fire kind of thing. So it's good in a way. And this place, I thought, wow, we can just move over there. It's very close. It's not, And I thought, this would be great. And we can make that money easy. We can afford rent easily. Your heart sank into your stomach as soon as she said,
It was a punch to the gut. 3 times the monthly rent.
Right. So the rent, the rent isn't really $2,600. It's really $7,800. You have to pay them that, but you have to be able to have $7,800 every month. And it's like we don't have $8,000 every month. No, we don't have that much. That would be 4 and 4. Yeah, we don't have $8,000. No. So that's fuck. Maybe we can try and negotiate. That's gonna be. We don't have fucking 4. We don't have $8,000 per month. We can do $3,000 per month and still have money left over for other shit. We do not have $8,000 per month. No. And if we did, why would we be wasting time in this fucking dump?
Yeah, I know. It's why wouldn't we mortgage a house or find a townhouse or condo? What the hell?
Yeah. We're trying to explain to how life works, to people in other parts of the world or whose mommies co-sign for them. Sorry, Rafterman. Okay. Exactly. This shit is unsustainable. And again, Rafterman, I love you, man, but ignorance. This isn't a private citizen. This isn't, I got a house for rent. Okay. Actually, I think landlords, a lot of these private, like the guy we rent from here, as long as he knows you're good for the money, he doesn't care. It doesn't have to be exactly three times. It's these corporate places. There's really no landlord per se. There's a leasing office with these mostly women who work for the company, but they're not the owners. There really is no landlord or landlady. It's owned by a corporation, and they have employees handle all this, and they go by the book. The corporation says you must have 3 times. So it's. I don't think you understand that. Rafterman just seems like kind of
oblivious,
kind of ignorant, kind of Interesting, because you said yes to the Colorado job, which is a good move. You said yes, and they don't want you to start for another few months, so you got time. But I even said to you, what if you really love this Washington job? And it turns out you really love it. I know Washington is expensive, and you like Colorado. I think you've lived there before. You like the idea of living in Colorado. But what are you planning to do? Are you going to tell Colorado bye and take the Washington job? And when would you have to start in Washington?
When would you have to start in Colorado?
I forget. Yeah, he told Colorado doesn't start. You can tell us he said yes to Colorado. He could still quit. They gave him ample time. I can't remember now. When does Colorado want you to start? When would Washington want you to start?
Yeah, I know. What's happening? Oh. What's that? Oh.
Okay, then Cassandra, here's what I don't get. Rafterman's a nice guy, but it's like this in Jersey. It's like this in Tucson. I can understand Orange County. If it's like this in Tucson, it's probably like this in Maryland. So I guess Rafterman, I'm not knocking him. But what he's saying is like the obliviousness when people don't know things. Oh, okay, I'll give you the guys and girls example. Well, bro, you just got to try harder. Maybe take another shower. That's all you got to do, and you'll get a girlfriend. Have a little more confidence. Maybe hit the gym. That's kind of like what he's saying. Oh, you just negotiate, man. It's like what? It's like you sound like you're giving me blue pill nonsense because you don't know the reality of the situation. Possibly, but that wouldn't give me a discount on the rent. She doesn't. Oh, she works for the company. Don't you understand? If I said, "Hey, if I sleep,"
so even though she's in her late 60s, she's chat only. So there's no hope for us.
Actually, should be like, you're ugly and disgusting, but there's one thing my Abner, my husband Abner, there's one thing he would never do for me. If you do that, we might talk. I'd be like, oh, like the Chamber of Cobwebs. Oh my God.
Dear God.
I go through all that. I'm sorry. I'll try to put in a good word, but I can't guarantee you. I'm just like, my mouth will be all like filled with like crusty dry, like, I'm like, wait, is this one of my beard hairs or this hair comes somewhere else? Oh my God. Well, again, when are you supposed to start? Let's start with Colorado. When do you start? When do they expect you to start? Let's start with that. And if Washington offers you the job, you think it would also be a delayed start time where they want you to start sooner? Like, you know what I mean? We're behind in chat. I might just jump down and, but we're having a good time. You got to go to bed soon, next 5 minutes. But yeah. Where are we here? I agree. Every job. I agree. Okay. Yeah, because there were union jobs. It's a whole thing. A bunch of children and non-Americans don't get it. I really can't, I don't understand what Hoodie is saying here. Hoodie, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. I have no idea what you're talking about.
No.
I have no idea what you're even talking about. Go back and rewatch because I don't feel like explaining all this shit again. Good. Come and seance the ghost. Sounds good. I want a seance. Either on panel or in real life, I want to see your beautiful face as we have a seance.
Yes.
Horace, I agree with you. This is what this is.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your better job? What were you doing then? Well, it's kind of funny. We couldn't see because by the time my brother got out of work and we got over there,
it was too late.
The office closes at 5. We got there around 4ish. So I even said to the lady, it's getting darker earlier. I said,
and the lady said, "Oh, you gotta get here before 4 p.m."
And I said, I know. I said, ma'am, we don't want to see the apartment tonight, but can we at least talk? And we had a good talk.
And we made an appointment to go back on Saturday. We'll make a video. Maybe we'll upload it.
Yeah, I got to work Friday night into Saturday, but I should be off Saturday night. Maybe not. I don't know yet. Saturday is my new week. Saturday night is really like my Sunday, but I'm going to work Friday into Saturday. Come home, stay up. My brother's off.
Yes.
Historically, you're off on.
Yeah, Monday was my day off, but several of my coworkers took vacations and personal days, so I had to work the past 3 or 4 Mondays.
Saturdays. No, Mondays.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mondays.
I'm retarded too.
Yeah, and I've been off on Saturday, which is worthless because businesses aren't open and we can't do anything.
Basically, before I went back to work, my brother was off every Monday. Turns out this grocery store, the one night they don't need me for sure is Monday. I'm almost guaranteed a Monday off. So I thought, this is great. You're off Monday. I work Sunday night into Monday morning. Sunday night into Monday morning. I don't have to go in that night. So I can stay up, put off sleep, get sleep later. So when I come home Monday morning, I work Sunday night into Monday. I come home. Me and Bro C can go over.
Yeah, we'll have a day to ourselves to go look at apartments and whatnot.
What?
No,
you haven't had a Monday off in like a month.
In like a month. Yeah, several coworkers have taken vacations or personal days. So Saturday became my day off, which is worthless.
Which is fucking, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so yeah.
Saturday and Sunday are busy nights in the grocery circuit. How does overtime, I'm curious, how does overtime work in a school? I honestly don't understand, because aren't the school hours set? Like, you know, the school class starts at a certain time, gets out at a certain time. How do you get overtime, quote unquote, overtime at a school? I don't understand that. Agua. It's funny. I actually said in my video, which I should upload, I use that. I was talking about the foreign nigger, how like he can speak English, but you can tell he doesn't really understand English. Like I can speak Spanish. I can say, que linea es agua. Oh, nueve bueno. I can say this, but if someone goes, blah, 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 I'm like, what? Same thing. It's kind of funny. He mentions how it's kind of like a weird parallel. Yes. You haven't seen the video, have you?
I have not.
And they haven't either. I recorded a video a couple mornings ago. I want to put it up. I didn't get around to it. I actually used that as an example. Interesting. Maybe Totem's an agent. He's part of Interpol. That's interesting. You met because when I upload. Remember, this video was recorded a couple days ago when I got out. What morning was it? I think it was Monday morning. What day? No, wait. What day is today? Or was it Sunday morning? I forget. I forget. The point is, I speak in broken Spanish, and I said, "Que linea es agua." Oh, you gotta go to bed in a minute. I'm going to get to bed right now. Say your goodbyes.
No. I'll finish my beer.
Finish your beer. He's out of it. He's at 2. We've lost track of how many beers we had. If you got to be late, be late. Christ. Right. But when do you think Washington will offer you the job? So you got to think about this. Exactly. Cassandra gets it. This is why I'm not knocking Rafterman, but the fact that some of the stuff he's saying makes no sense. 3 times? I don't understand that. You got to negotiate. Just take a shower, bro. Just have confidence, bro. Just hit the gym, bro. It's basically the same argument. Well, just negotiate, bro. What a world you get to live in. Cassandra, you're correct. I don't know what Rafterman's getting at. He's ignorant. We're trying to enlighten him, and he's like, "Oh, it's just not that hard to get a place. I got a place. Did my mom co-sign? What does co-sign mean? I don't know. It's like, what the fuck?
That's a pretty big thing to not remember.
Yeah. But the fact that you can't remember shows your mother was involved somehow. So, Jesus Christ. Ooh. Yeah. Wow. You're almost making as much as my fucking kid sister, who gets paid $6,000 to do Christ knows what in an office. Wow, lucky son of a boach. Nice. And when your daughter gets married, you can give your future son-in-law, a bunch of money so he can have a down payment on the house. Yes. Unless you don't like him. Okay. Thanks, man. We need a 2-bedroom. We can't just live in no. In fact, there's an apartment right on the corner. They say it's 1 bedroom. In reality, it's effectively just 1 room. There's a small little kitchenette, not really a kitchen, a kitchenette, and there's just 1 big room, which I guess is like a studio. It's your living room / bedroom. Yeah. So it's not even like you can say, okay, why not get a 1-bedroom place? Bro C can have the bedroom. I sleep on the couch. This isn't even. There's not even 2 rooms. There's only one. The apartment is basically 1 big room and a little kitchenette. And that room is both a bedroom / living room. So and that's going for like what, 1,700?
Yeah, 1,800.
So even that is like close to $2,000. So it's ridiculous.
No, that's cool.
Totem. Everybody plays the fool sometimes. No exception to the rule. Maybe factual. We all play fools. And yes, normies, neurotypicals hate when they take it's a social status thing. Okay.
All right. I go to bed. You can take whatever.
Fine. Yeah, go to bed. Get some sleep. You have water, you said, right?
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, let's do this. Let's take a stop. Where's the fucking? Give me. We're gonna trip. Okay, bro C he's tired. He needs to go to bed. I'm tired too, but I'm gonna fuck up my pattern, but oh well. He's brushing his teeth. I hope he gets into bed. He's really out of it. I haven't said, "Shoot, want to go to bed?" He's like, "No, one more beer." When you're so drunk and tired, you think you can handle it. I'm gonna say it one more time, buddy. Do not. If you're really that out of it, be an hour late. Fuck it, because they're fucking you up, making you work. Every fucking Saturday. Every Monday, but having said so, if you don't risk a DUI because we really can't afford that. You know what I mean?
I do.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I remember my kid sister loved My Little Pony when she was a little girl. I don't know any of the characters. I mean, I have to think about it. Hold on. Hey, where are you going? That bathroom? Oh, Jesus Christ. Cassandra, I'll tell my brother. You did a beautiful job articulating what I was trying to say. If he doesn't know whether or not his mom co-signed, she did. Exactly, because I don't know if she signed or not. I don't go. Well, clearly she was involved. You're basically showing us that she was involved in the process somehow. Like with me, like I said, my brother and I, if you asked, did your mom co-sign? No, my mother has nothing to do with me. We got her into a place. My mother isn't getting me into a place. By saying, I can't remember if he co-signed or not, you're basically saying she was involved in the process. And hence, yeah, if he doesn't know whether or not his mom co-signed, she did. Exactly. Well said. That's what we're trying to articulate. And yeah, broken clock. I like Horsehead. He's a nice guy. I agree with a lot of what he says, and you're quasi-troll. But yes, in a way, you could describe Horsehead as a limousine liberal or a champagne socialist, and that's not a dig at him. That's not a dig. He actually does quite well, and a lot of people of his demographic and background, etc., and similar, might not be so. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say liberal per se. Might not be so conscientious of how the other half lives. So I do like Horsehead, but yes, in some ways you can say he's a champagne socialist or a limousine liberal. I'm behind in chat. I'm just going to jump down to the bottom here because I really don't feel like going back and reading all this shit unless something really, really, really important was said. Okay. Did my mom buy my clothes when I was a little boy? Sure. Oh, you're asking him. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, in other words, even if it's true that his mother doesn't like to give out money and wouldn't help, he probably still needed someone to co-sign. She said, yeah, I'll co-sign. He has enough money to pay for it. I'll co-sign to say just to get him out of the house. So yeah, the mother was involved. The point is the mother was involved somehow. You know what I mean? Cassandra put it best. She's like, if you can't remember if his mother co-signed or not, then she did. Yeah, the fact the mother was involved in the process. My mother's not involved in this process at all. That's why some of the stuff Rafterman is saying, I like the guy, but it's like, huh?
Yeah.
All right, you all right? You got water?
Yes, I do.
All right. He keeps water bottles, especially drunk, water bottles by his bed. And in the middle, if he wakes up, his throat's dry, he downs some water. I'm like, I'll make sure he doesn't trip and fall down, going down the stairs to get a fucking thing of water. Because we can't afford a broken arm or a fucking drunk driving charge. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It can be a pejorative, but it can also be somewhat of a weird, you know. That's what you are. I'm not knocking you, Horsehead. You've done well for yourself, but you still seem to be legitimately conscientious of how others are suffering. But limousine liberal can also mean people who are virtue signaling. Oh, let's think of the poor. Let's throw a gala to raise money for charity, when it's really just an excuse to have like a party with champagne. We care about the poor. So it can have different meanings, you know, depending on context. Now, because I'm also a member of the Aryan Brotherhood, he's not as dangerous as I am. I'm more dangerous. So we're both members. Yes, I'm more dangerous. If you consider him dangerous, look out if I come around. I'm even more dangerous, and I'm part of the Aryan Brotherhood. Or am I a Black Panther? I can't recall. Oh. It helps to have rich allies if you're a socialist, right? Well, you're saying the rich guy, Horsehead is rich, and he's quasi-socialist, which is nice. He understands, you know. I'm not sure what the question is. I'm not making fun of you, Rafterman. I'm just trying to point things out. You're comprehend. It's like again, when a normie says, "Can't get a girlfriend?" Well, I got a haircut. That helped. I took a better shower. I hit the gym. That helped me. It'll help you. It's like one size does not fit all. Same thing with just negotiate, bro. Just talk to these people and say, I can't afford 3 times. Maybe I can do 2 times. It doesn't work like that, man. Try to learn something here. Yeah, someone else has to lose, or I don't feel like I'm winning. And also, someone else has to lose so I can have more. You know, if I've got all this, you know, all this food, and you've got just like little crumbs, well, that's still some. If I need more, you know, less crumbs for you. It's like, yeah, it's. From my perspective, you're rich. Again, don't just look up, look down. From our perspective, for a lot of people's perspectives here, yeah, you're offered a 6-figure salary job. Don't compare yourself to Donald Trump. Compare yourself to me, or even Cassandra, or Rafterman, even though he doesn't seem to know what his situation is, or Thule. Compare yourself to them. Yes, us. Compare yourself to people like us. You're rich from our perspective. You're thinking, again, a lot of people, I'm on this level. I look up. Look at that billionaire fat cat. I'm not rich. He is. Look down for a minute. Oh, shit. Look at OC and Cassandra and Rafterman and Thule. Okay, yes, comparatively speaking, I've been looking up at what I don't have. Let me look down and say, okay, yeah, I am rich. So, yeah. Comes off as, but again, you're still missing the point. What you're saying is true. I get you. We're talking comparatively. Look down at how the other half lives. Don't just look up. Wow, we're disappearing. Look at all those billionaires up there. But you're still richer than we are. So you're rich from our perspective. And that's another thing. You're lucky that your father-in-law, your in-laws, you're lucky that they're loaded and they liked you and were happy to give you that loan. That's another part of it. So when people say, "Why didn't you just be more like Horse said?" Well, if I can magically get a better face, get a lovely wife, and that lovely wife's parents were loaded and they were happy to give me the money, we don't all get these opportunities. That's not I dig at you, Horse said. That's just some of these people, things they say. It's like, what? And yeah, broken clock. There might be some truth. Totem, there might actually be some truth to that. Well, I read something once, something I read years ago. Some economist said something like, the problem with the middle class is that everyone thinks they're middle class. You think about that. So, you got some guy, I'm not homeless. I'm struggling to pay the rent, but I'm not homeless. I'm middle class. You got a guy making six figures. I'm not rich. I'm middle class. So middle class can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And a lot of people apparently think they're middle class despite having dramatic. I think we need more than there are subdivisions or strata. So, which is part of the problem. When Horsehead says, I'm not rich, I'm middle class. Well, okay, but let's subdivide the middle class because you're definitely in the richer part of the middle class. Let's not play that game. I'm sorry, Horse. Let's not play that game. Yeah, it's good to be happy for what you have, but let's not play that game. Let's not play that game. Ooh, with those people living in the Congo. Let's not play that game. We're talking about, we're all Americans here. I could be homeless on the street. I would be in America. I wouldn't be living in the jungle. We're comparing the homeless up to billionaires and this whole stratum in between. Let's not go out of the country here. Wow. He's my age. Actually, you're younger. And that's impressive. But you understand something. Because you've been offered a six-figure job. So to you, 100K seems measly compared to 350K. But understand, if you had 100K, you wouldn't be in the position I am. You'd easily be able to afford to rent that dumpy apartment if you wanted. So you have opportunities, and you're comparing yourself again to those above you. Stop a minute and look at those below you. You get it, but you don't. That's how I see you. And this asshole really should apply for unemployment. He's paid into it over the years, try to get something. You're afraid to. I told you once, apply for unemployment. Well, yeah, there's upper middle, lower middle. Okay, we can make these distinctions, but again, even that's not quite. There's a whole stratum of quote unquote middle class. In fact, middle class. I think we do upper, lower, middle. There's more of a whole caste system of classes, economic classes. Okay. If you are making too much money to even consider becoming a NEET, you're doing much better than I am. I'll put it that way. Like, you have a wife and a kid and a decent job. If you said, man, I don't want to work anymore, I want to NEET, you wouldn't get it because you have too much money, too much in savings, have proven, demonstrated that you can work. You couldn't NEET if you wanted to. I wanted to NEET because I can't make it in life. I want to be a lazy bum. And they make it hard to get NEET bucks, of course. But if you're at that cusp where you might be a candidate for NEET bucks, yeah, that would be me. If you're like thousands of miles away from that, whether it be 100K or 350K or whatever, if you're far enough away from that, you're in a much higher up class. So that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. I think I'm caught up in chat. I don't usually fall behind, but I'm tired and I'm drunk and I haven't done this in a while. But I'm not trying to knock anyone. I like Rafter Man, but he just strikes me as ignorant of some things. And I like Horsehead, and I think he is genuine when he says, even though I make a lot of money, I understand, he gets that part, but he's so quick to be like, oh, I'm not rich. My brother-in-law, he makes $350K. That's rich. Okay, yeah, comparatively, but still, my God. I'll have to think of an example. Okay, then I guess what is poor to you? And let's not talk about the Congo. I guess I'm poor then, which is fine. I'm thinking like, man, I make a little too much from Neat Bucks, but I'm near that cusp. So to me, anyone who's like nowhere near the Neat Bucks cusp is doing quite all right for themselves. Now, my brother makes more than me, but he's not rich by any means. He's even said, man, I work, I toil, I slave away. I make too much for Neat Bucks, but nowhere near enough. I can't make 3 times the rent. I can afford the rent, but I can't make 3 times the rent. So, that it's kind of thing. If you make too much money for Neat Bucks, but it's still like a struggle just to exist, anyone above that is doing quite well from my perspective. Okay. All right, I'm grab another beer. Take a piss. There we go. All right, hold on. Give me a minute. You talk amongst yourselves. I want to address this point, but here, let me. Where the hell is it? Now I want to address Horsehead's point here. You see, look, man, here's why I would disagree with that. Say you're in some, small town in Alabama, and you got, Boss Hog, and he's the richest man in town. Now, he might not be able to afford to live in Manhattan, New York City. And even if he could, he might be struggling there. So you're right. In one environment, he'd be rich, another poor. But I think it's very, because you were the one who brought the Congo. I said, don't go that far to range. I'm looking at things hyper locally. The rich man in Alabama might not be as rich in New York, but he's rich in his environment. So I think we're taking a very loose definition of rich. I think it's all, the richest man in Back Fork Woods, Alabama, might not be rich in New York, but within his environment, if he's doing better than the others and can afford things, doesn't have to worry about the cost of living. So it's all regional in a way. Hold on a minute. God damn it. And that's another thing. I probably, living in New Jersey, which has like the minimum wage is like $15.50, and I get a differential working overnight. Not a lot of money, but I might make more than someone with a decent-ish job in Alabama or Arkansas or something. But cost of living. So, and why don't you move to Arkansas? Well, because the job I work here, it's all fractional. The job I work here in Jersey, this overnight grocer job, I may be making comparable to, let's say, I don't know, a technician in Arkansas. But if I move to Arkansas, I'm not going to be a technician. I'm going to go back to overnight grocery, and fractionally, equationally, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll be making less. So it's not just about dollars on paper. It's based in your area. In fact, a lot of these, HUD and Section 8 and affordable housing. It's all based not even on state, but even county. In this area, you make X, therefore you're poor. In this area, that salary might be a perfectly good salary so you're not considered poor. As would I, as would a lot of people. If you're making figures that a lot of people would be comfortable with, you're doing better than most. That's what I'm trying to say. We're splitting hairs. Well, I'm not rich. I know there's an episode of The Cosby Show where, one of the Cosby daughters came home. It wasn't Lisa Bonet. I think it was the fat one. It wasn't Rudy. It was one of the middle girls. She was like, oh, at school today, they made fun of me. They said, I'm a spoiled rich girl. And what's his name? Bill Cosby goes, honey, you're not rich. Your mother and I are rich. Ha, ha, ha. And the audience laughs. And then, the mother's like, no, we're not rich. Rich is, and she starts trying to justify we're not rich. But, it's like in that show, even though it's fantasy, he's a doctor. His wife's a lawyer. They're living in this beautiful brownstone apartment. Yeah, the neighborhood's kind of a shithole, but they're well-to-do niggers in this New York City. They are rich for their environment. And, Bill Cosby, you're not rich. Your mother and I are. No, we ain't rich. It's like a lot of people try to downplay. I'd be like, man, I'm making $100,000 a year. I know what it's like to be making minimum wage and fear of losing a job. And man, I'm pretty happy here. Yeah. So look down. Don't just look up. Don't just look at the level above you. Focus on the level below you. Instead of trying to split hairs and trying to lecture us, be like, okay, go to the Congo and start lecturing people. People in the Congo are starving. Wow. You have all you can eat. You have plenty of food. You must be, wow, you're really lucky. And then you say to them, no. I'm not really lucky. To me, a lucky person is like a glutton who eats food that he doesn't need. I'm very, conscientious of what I do and don't eat. So I'm not, but it's like you still have all access to all the food you want. So telling starving kids in Africa, I know I'm very tired, but right. And that's, like Lone Hiker, that's what I was trying to tell Horse. Well, to me, rich means you can live anywhere in the country and be comfortable. We're taking a really broad definition of rich here because he's doing quite all right in Texas. Yeah, maybe if he moved to New York City, his current salary wouldn't seem like much, but it's all regional. Like what I make in Jersey is poor by Jersey standards. Maybe in Arkansas, it would be a decent wage, but if I moved to Arkansas, I wouldn't be making as much as I do here. So it's all relevant to the area. So I don't agree with the whole, was that the one, the movie Congo? What's his name? The butler from Clue and Rocky Horror Picture Show, The Lost City of Zinj. Yeah, I remember that movie. Congo, yeah. The Lost City of Zinj. Yeah, I saw bits and pieces. I remember when that came out. I was probably like, I don't know, 14-ish. I don't remember the year, but yeah, at the end, they kill the bad gorillas with like a laser gun. But it was the guy, what's his name? Tim Curry, The Lost City of Zinj. Exactly. See? Yeah. Have we established anything here? I feel like I'm rambling. I'm not articulating, getting the words out the way I want to get them out. Ugh. And the fact that you don't have to live there if you don't want to. To me, rich is, you said I can live anywhere comfortably. To me, rich is I don't have to settle for shittier areas. I can live in a nice area comfortably. Well, hold on. The answer is we're looking around, and again, there are places we can afford, but all the corporate ones have that times 3 rule. That's like a standard given. So it's almost like I got to find some landlord who lives next door who's like, as long as you're good for the money. All these places within our range, quote unquote, still want you to be able to earn 3 times the amount of rent. So that's where the problem comes in. And yes, I do agree with you on that. Yes. These are the states that keep the government out of our business, yet they take more. They're like basically colonies in a way. They take more from the federal government than they give back. A lot of these, these deep red states, not all of them. I mean, Texas is a red state, but it's an exception to the rule. Texas probably brings in more, probably gives more than it takes in. But yeah, many, many states that tend to be red tend to actually be the ones that are more dependent upon federal assistance, despite their disdain for the federal government. That's absolutely correct. But not Texas. Texas is historically red, but Texas is big enough, populated enough that it's not dependent on the feds. But it gives more back to the federal government than it takes in. But yeah, for a lot of red states, that is accurate. There we go. Being rich is being able to choose to live in a nice place. And not have to have that financial worry of, can I maintain this? There are a lot of people living in nice areas, but they're, taking out loans. They get in debt. I think rich is, I can afford to live in a nice place and I don't have to worry about, am I going to be able to afford the rent? Am I going to be able to afford the cable bill, the electric bill? Am I going to, I think that's what rich is. I can live in a nice place and be able to cover all my expenses without worry. Because there are people in nice areas who are in debt. They took out a mortgage, or maybe they had a good job and they lost it. Now they're, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to afford this place anymore. So I think it's a combination of being able to live in a nice place without any financial fret. I think that's what rich is. So all this, well, I make $100,000, so I'm not rich. My brother-in-law makes $350K. It's like the rich subdividing themselves. No, I agree with you on that. You're 1,000% correct. Although Texas, I would say, is an exception. I gotta sneeze. Hold on. I think I had sneeze. I feel something. It's like a quasi. Excuse me. Yeah, and Florida. Texas and Florida buck the trend. Correct. But you're right. They're the exceptions. On the whole, what you're saying is correct. Don't get me wrong. Montana is a lovely state. It's beautiful, but we're talking politics here. You're right. Places like that, keep the government out of our business. We're free to. It's like you're more dependent upon this government you hate than the blue states that are basically funding your existence. Yes. Yes, you should have. But A for effort. Good definition. You can choose to live in a nice place comfortably without having to fret or worry or. Yes, that's to me is rich. If you have that, I guess once you have that established, then you can start playing these. Well, I'm not rich. Like the Cosbys. One's a doctor, one's a lawyer. The wife, well, we're not rich. Rich is this. That's kind of what my criticism of Horsehead is. I'm not rich. I only make $100K. My brother-in-law makes $350K. So yeah, comparatively to you, he makes more. But you're still over that line of being able to afford your existence, your nice life, without worry, financial distress. So you're both, and then it becomes a pissing contest of who makes more. You're over that line, horse. You're over that line, above that line where you can play the pissing contest game and say, well, I don't piss as much as my brother, so I'm not a pisser. You still piss. I'm not as rich as my brother, so I'm not rich. You're still rich. And that's not a criticism. What happened to your grandma? Well, I'm a pisser too. What I'm trying to say is, it's like we're splitting hairs. It's like, it's like, okay, think of it this way. I'm a rock star. I make millions of dollars going around and I get screaming fans and this and that and this and that. But I've only got 4 gold records, and that band, they got, 6, 7, 8 gold records. So I'm not a rock star. Well, the vast majority of people don't get to have 1 gold record, let alone make a living off of being playing the guitar on stage. So it becomes a pissing contest of who has more this and that. Well, we're not the biggest band. They have more Grammys than we do. The fact that you can even talk about having a Grammy, you're in a different class. That's right, I never liked Nickelback. Never liked that band. I was in college when they came out. That never made it as a wise man. I never liked them. They seemed like, they were trying to be the Allman Brothers, but they sucked. I never liked Nickelback. I was a little too old. That wasn't my teenage years. That was my 20s. I never liked them. Well, then why do you ask me to sing them? Yes, we found something, Captain Hook. We found something we can all agree on. It took a while. You, Horse, you, Totem, and me, we finally agree. Nickelback sucks. Okay, so we found one thing. That's a starting point. We found something we can agree on. Yes, Nickelback sucks. I agree. 1,000%. Okay. Oh, no. I'm not comparing them. I'm saying Nickelback presented as wannabe Allman Brothers. They had were skinny guys with long hair and beard. They had like t-shirts. They had like wannabe Allman Brothers, but they didn't have the musical chops to back it up. I'm talking about presentation wise. Allman, the Allman Brothers. Did I say almond? Allman, the Allman Brothers. I'm talking about the way they presented themselves, not the musical style. They did not look like Kiss. They did not look like, I don't know, Devo. They presented themselves with that Allman Brothers look, but they didn't have the musical chops to be anything like them. Did I say almond? I don't know. I'm half asleep. I'm drunk. I'm tired. I didn't really sleep. The other night I was like on and off sleep. I'm just fucked up. Yeah, Allman, All Man Brothers. That was a good band. I like the Allman Brothers. Shame a lot of them are dead now. I think Dickie Betts. The black dude is still with us, Jimo and Dickie Betts. I think the rest of them are dead now. Oh, it was Allman Brothers. Tracy Ullman actually put an album out. I might have a copy of it somewhere. She did a cover of They Don't Know About Us, and They've Never Heard of Us. No, I don't. Let's go. Any wasted lines? You've never... Tracy. I'm talking about Tracy Ullman. Or are you talking about the Allman Brothers? I don't know what we're talking about anymore. I've lost track. We're having a good conversation about rent into earnings. And now we're talking about, don't get me wrong, I like talking about the Allman Brothers. We're talking about Nickelback. You changed the topic to Nickelback. At least we all agreed on something, They say we've got nothing in common, no common ground to start from, and we're falling apart. And I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's, she said, I think I remember the film, and as I recall, I think we both kind of liked it. And I said, well, that's the one thing we got. So me and Horsehead and Totem are in agreement. We hate Nickelback. Okay, something came out of all this, talk about, rent and earnings and whatnot, our shared hatred of Nickelback. Okay. No. No. All right. I tried my hand at farmhanding. I tried my hand at being a farmhand. BS jobs that pay well. I'll give him that. Even though the job probably, it's like, I don't want to say his jobs are BS because maybe, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but whatever you're doing, if you're making that kind of money, you can afford a wife and a kid and a nice house comfortably, you're doing better than a lot of us. Never made it as it was, man. No, wait. I'm starting to sing Nickelback again. What was Creed? I see a vision of a cross. I feel the pain that was felt on that sad day of loss. And I say, oh, so I held my head up high. You understand? I'm 10 years older than you guys. I'm in my 40s. Rafterman and Thule, you're in your 30s. So that music was your adolescence. I was already an adult, and it just didn't do anything for me. Creed and Nickelback, I was a little too. Maybe if I was a teenager, I'd have been like, I was already in my 20s, which is young, but those weren't the bands of my, my middle school and high school years. So I don't really think of Creed and Nickelback the way, the way you guys would, because you're 10 years younger. You're still growing up when that was a thing. Good for you. I know you do, because you're from that era. You two, you're both 30 something, right? You're like, what, 32, 33, however old you are. You guys are 10 years younger than me. So yes, that was the music, the soundtrack of your, younger years. That's a good point. In many ways, Horsehead and Totem are comparable. You guys both have, very, very good jobs. From what Horsehead, what Totem tells us. This is true. Okay. Okay, I think we're caught up. We're winding down. Perhaps it does. What is your job again? You can share it with us. Give us a general. You don't have to tell us where you work. Just what line of work are you in? I don't remember. Well, something I want to tell you guys something that I've noticed. Maybe you're starting to notice it too. You said Rafterman in his 30s says, I didn't like Creed as a kid either. I only like them now as an adult. And what's his name? Thule. I didn't like Creed when I was younger. Okay, you guys were kids. I was an adult. I hear songs from my childhood or my teenage years that I recall that at the time I thought, man, this sucks, or this blows, this isn't great. And all of a sudden I hear them again. I'm like, I actually kind of like this song. I remember it. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it's part of getting older. I've had a lot of those experiences too, where stuff that didn't really appeal to me when I was younger suddenly sounds good. But Creed and Nickelback came out sort of after that period. So yes, you will start thinking of songs. I think there's that special time. I like music from before I was born. People still love classical, like what's his name, Bach and Mozart, and Piano. I like, sometimes I hear a new song I like, but I think for everyone, your teenage years, when you don't have that responsibility yet, but you're old enough to comprehend things, I really think it's the music, the soundtrack of our youth. It's really whatever time period you were like, young, adolescent to teenage, that's the music that sticks with you. And even songs you thought sucked, suddenly, this isn't so bad. But I'm too old to have that experience with Creed or Nickelback. But you guys are experiencing what I've experienced. Songs from my teenage years that I thought sucked suddenly sound not so bad. I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example. On the radio, and they were playing a song today that from when it came out, I was in high school. I must have been, 16-ish. I don't remember, 17. And I remember my kid sister. She was probably like 12. She loved this song. Loved it I remember, and maybe it's part of nostalgia. My sister and I, as you know, have had sort of a falling out of sorts. I haven't seen my sister in over a year. We'll probably never patch it up. But I heard the song, and even though I never liked it when I was a teenager, never liked it, thought it was sugary garbage, never liked it, my sister loved it, and all of a sudden it made me want to listen to it. And the song was by Third Eye Blind. It was do do do. The sky was gold, it was gold, it was something to my nose, and I wish I could get back there, someplace back there, smiling in the pictures you would take, doing crystal meth will lift you up until you break it. I want something else to get me through this semi-charm kind of life, baby, but baby, I want something else, not listening when you say goodbye. Do 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 do. Right. I never liked that. I thought this song's sugary garbage. Who cares? But I heard it on the radio and it made me think, I can kind of use it because I remember it. It brings back memories. And I think back, wow, times have changed. I remember my little sister loved that song. It was brand new. She loved that song. And now she and I don't talk anymore. I never liked it. Now it's like, I'll listen to this song. Well, it's funny. My sister in her 20s went to go see them with some friends. And I said, did they play your favorite song? And she said, yeah, but first they played a bunch of new music. This is back when Thule and Rafterman were like teenagers. My sister, I guess, was in her 20s. She went to go see them. And the guy was like, people, we're going to play our new stuff first. Then we'll get to the, and then, towards the end, they played, what was that one? I will understand. Step back from that ledge, my friend. And they ended with Semi-Charmed Life. And my sister was happy to see. She always loved that song. I never liked it, but I'm like, now it makes me think. I'm trying to explain that, songs I didn't like when I was younger, in my formative years. I'm like, okay, I can listen to this now. Like you guys are experiencing with your Nickelbacks and your Creeds. But that wasn't my formative years. I was a little too old. I was a little past that teenage stage. I was into my 20s, which wasn't the same. Everybody has to face the demons. Maybe today we can put the past away. I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. You could cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in. And if you do not want to see me again, I will understand. I never liked, what was that band called? Third Eye Blind, but nostalgia. Okay. Have we established... And one other thing I'll say this. When that song was new, they would blur on the radio, they would blur out that part. Doing crystal meth, Semi-Charmed Life. Doing crystal meth will lift you up into the break. You get this, smiling at the pictures you would take, lift you up until you break. Now they play it right in the radio. During crystal meth, they actually play that. They would never play it on the radio. But it's funny because The Doors, before my time, great song. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the album version. Everybody loves my baby. She get high, she get high, she get high. That's the album version. The radio version, everybody loves my baby. She get, whoa. And to this very day, that song's what? Close to 60 years old. They still won't say she get high on the radio. They play the edited version. But with Semi-Charmed Life, when that song was new, they didn't it wasn't blank. It was like backwards. They made it backwards. Smiling in the pictures you would take, lift you up until you break. Now they flat out play doing crystal meth will lift you up until you break. That's interesting. While we're on the topic, there was one other song from my teenage years. It was by a band called Tool. You know the band Tool? I never liked Tool, but this one song was catchy. It was the one biggest radio hit. It was called, I forget what it was called, Anemia or something like that. It was the one, it's a bullshit 3-ring circus sideshow of... In the album version, he says the F word a lot of times. We're doing this, fucking this, and fucking learn to swim, fuck, see you, Arizona Bay. They edited it out on the radio, and I want to say something. Normally, I don't like censorship. Normally, but I actually think the radio version that edited out the F word was better. The album version, it sounds like the guy is just like a child. Mommy's not here. Let me say fuck all I can. On the radio version where they blank that out, it actually, you can feel the frustration. It's a 3-ring bullshit circus sideshow of in this thing they call LA. It's like he's really frustrated trying to get the words out. That's one of these rare examples where censorship actually made the song better, because when with the F word, fuck, like mommy's away, I'm going to say fuck. In the version where they edited it out, and it's just, you can feel the frustration, like he can't get the words out. Learn to swim, see you down in Arizona Bay. I actually thought the edited version was better. You felt this I can't get the words out. We really shifted gears here, but okay. Tool had a big following, but they were never a big commercial band. That was their one, back in their era when they were played on the radio, that was the one song you couldn't escape. That was their biggest radio hit, is what I'm saying. Yes, I will say a little band called Tool, because, they had a big following, but kind of like, what's it called? What was that band? Sonic Youth. Big following. People rant and rave about them. They never played Sonic Youth on the radio, and they only played that one Tool song on the radio. That was their only pop song, quote unquote. That's why I'm trying to tell you that got a lot of airplay, and they would censor the F word, and it actually made it sound better. Like the guy couldn't get his thoughts. I actually thought it sounded better without fuck. Not because I'm offended by the word fuck, but because it just really stressed the anxiety, and not the anxiety, but the angst. And I'm trying to get this out, and I'm so frustrated. Exactly. They have a huge cult following, but I'm talking about radio-wise. Yeah, Sonic Youth. We're talking about my teenagers. Sonic Youth and Tool, huge cult followings. Fish, huge cult followings, but never pop. You're not going to hear like, a new single is dropped by Tool. They weren't radio staples. And we've done the weave. We've come back to Totem. I don't live in the same world that you do. I'm not anywhere near as good looking. I'm not anywhere near as socially successful. You and Horse really have advantages in life. And I'm happy for you, but you could try to have a little sympathy and maybe even cognitive empathy. Put yourself in our shoes, how the other half lives. I think Horsehead tries. God bless him, he tries. He sometimes gets it wrong. Totem, you're such a good looking, sexy bastard, and you're a billionaire. Why can't you have a heart? At least Horsehead, despite splitting hairs, well, I make 100K. That's not rich. No, 350. Despite that, look down, Horse, not up. Despite that, he tries. God bless him. Totem, come on, man. Realize, count your blessings, man. Kind of. I would say the thing with the Grateful Dead, they, how do I put this? They had hits in their era, but they were all like top 40. They never had a top 10 until the 80s with Touch of Grey. I think Grateful Dead got more radio play on the radio than Tool or Sonic Youth. But yeah, comparable. Huge following, like Fish. Huge following, but yeah, not, but I still say you'll hear, if you put the radio on, you'll hear more Dead songs than you will Tool songs or Sonic Youth songs or Fish songs. Yes, they got more exposure. They just couldn't get a top 10 hit until the fucking 1980s with Touch of Grey. That was their only top 10. They had top 40s, but they didn't get a top 10. I would put them in that. They're not Beatles level, but they're probably above Tool in terms of exposure. Oh, well, a touch of gray kind of suits you anyway. That was all I had to say, and it's all right. I will get by. Do, 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 do. I will get by. Do, 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 do. I will get by. I will survive. That was their only top 10, but they had top 40s. You go up to someone in the 60s or 70s, they could name at least one or two Dead songs. Tool, ask the regular average Joe, what song do you know by Tool? That one about Arizona Bay. Okay. What song do you know by Sonic Youth? Who? They didn't play them on the radio. I think the Dead got more radio play. They just couldn't get a top 10 hit. It's funny. I'm not a Deadhead by any means, but if we talk about albums as a whole, like I wouldn't want the Dead's greatest hits, but American Beauty, that album is a masterpiece. One of my favorites. If we talk about, I'm not crazy about the band as a whole. I don't want to buy all their albums, but this one album, start to finish, there might be one or two shitty songs. Start to finish, it's brilliant. American Beauty. That's a gorgeous album. Very lovely, beautiful, very American, very well done, very the musicianship. I'm not a Deadhead. I wouldn't want to buy all their albums, but that one album as a continuous piece is brilliant. American Beauty by the Grateful Dead is one of my favorite albums. Not my favorite band by any means, but one of my favorite albums as a collective piece, a collective work. I would say, yeah, American Beauty really is an American Beauty. I probably said that before, but yes, the American Beauty is an American Beauty. Not a Deadhead. Don't really care about their other albums. They have a few songs here and there I like. I like Touch of Grey. I like Uncle John's Band. But again, I wouldn't want to buy the album. American Beauty is just as a work of art. It's really a beautiful album. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I still think the Grateful Dead, because they were. I don't think they're. A lot of them are dead now. Literally dead. Are they grateful? We don't know. I would still say reputation-wise, ask Grandma, who's Tool? Tool? I got a hammer over there. Who's the Grateful Dead? Oh, yeah, I remember them from my younger days. I remember this boy and I were smoking a doobie, and, well, I don't want to tell you the rest of the story. Ask Grandma. She probably knows the Grateful Dead, probably never heard of Tool. Right, and that's what we talk about, cult followings. A lot of these bands, Tool, Fish, The Dead, have cult followings, but didn't have, although I still think The Dead got more exposure, they just didn't get a top 10 hit. We're talking about, the band, as in, the band called The Band, is that what you mean? I like them. I got a couple of their albums. Virgil Caine is the name, and I served on the Danville train. The Stormers' cavalry came and tore up the tracks again. In the winter of 65, we were hungry, just barely alive. By May the 10th, Richmond fell. It's a time I remember oh so well. The night they drove old Dixie down, and the bells were ringing the night they drove old Dixie down. And the people were singing, they went, la 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 la. This is good. I'm worried. I got this new job. I'm run ragged. I got to find a place to live. The landlord wants to kick me out. I can afford the rent, the monthly rent in some of these places, but I don't have 3 times the rent in, monthly income. That's where the problem comes in. It's good to have a few beers, not have to worry about adult stuff, and just sing songs. So thank you. This is actually kind of nice. This is kind of nice. I think this is why I took to streaming as like some kind of outlet, some kind of escape. Not to be a YouTuber, a famous YouTuber. No. Coffee house gives me an excuse to share my problems, then put them aside, get drunk, and sing a few songs. That's all I want to do in life. And I agree, Rafterman. Tool is not bigger than the Grateful Dead. I'm not knocking Tool. They're comparable in the cult following sense. No, Grateful Dead, yeah, there's a whole cult. Yeah, Grateful Dead is still, I would say, it doesn't matter who you like better. This isn't about, I like Tool better than the Dead. It doesn't matter who you like or don't like. You can hate one band, love another. It's just, if you said, I hate the Beatles, fine. The Beatles are nowhere near as popular as, Colonel Tucker's Medicinal Brew and Compound Band. Who? In other words, it doesn't matter if you hate this band and love this band. We're talking about stepping back and saying who had mass appeal, who didn't. Yeah, I would say the Grateful Dead had more of a mass appeal or a mass recognition than Tool. I would agree with that. Wow. Fish has gotten to a point now where they've become Muzak, elevator music. Interesting. And remember, Lone Hiker told me when he was growing up, he wasn't into music at all. He's like one of these like anti-music people who. So good for you, Lone Hiker, from coming out of your shell. Actually, we were talking about the Allman Brothers earlier. They were playing that song. I think it's called Jessica, instrumental. Do 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 do. I remember they were playing that once. I was a teenager. My father's like, "Is that the Allman Brothers? They're playing the Allman Brothers on the Weather Channel? Oh, that's kinky." Funny memories. Well, I was a teen. I was old. You understand the Hanson brothers? I think the oldest was a year older than me, but the singer and the drummer boy were younger than me. So I'm their age, their generation. I wasn't really a kid. I was a teenager, and no, I didn't like Hanson. I mean, I remember that song was big, and I remember there's one girl in my class who really liked the song. She really liked Bop, and a couple of the boys. I just sort of sitting there. A couple of the boys were like, "Is that a guy or a girl?" She was like, "It's a boy. It's a boy. Stop making fun of him. Stop." She liked Hanson. But I also remember there was this one kid I went to school. I can't remember his name. He looked like one of the Hanson brothers. He had that strawberry blonde hair. He had that like kind of like Children of the Corn, Middle American look. And all of a sudden, he decided to dye his hair black and wear a lot of black clothing. So they would call him Marilyn Hanson. Get it? Marilyn Manson Hanson. He looked like one of the Hanson boys gone goth. So they would call him Marilyn Hanson. I remember that when I was in high school. That was pre-Columbine. He looked like one of the Hanson brothers. It was in between. You had Hanson and it was like that year or so between. He looked like a Hanson brother, but he dyed his hair black and wore those trench coats, so they called him Marilyn Hanson. But no, I was not a Hanson kid. No, I'm like the same age. I'm older than the two. I'm their age. You know, it wasn't like a little boy. I really love Hanson. I remember that one girl. She loved him, and the kids in school, the other boys were like, "Is that a dude or a chick?" That's what we all thought. Is this some like a gay guy, or is this like a girl who's ugly? What is this? And I remember this girl in the class like, "No, don't make fun of Hanson. I love that song." I remember that, but no, I wasn't a fan of Hanson. Come on, man. Were you even alive when that happened? I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, I'm being told I look like Elvis. Totem thinks I look like Elvis. You say Jerry Garcia. What if they mated? Conan O'Brien used to say, what if they mated? If Jerry Garcia and Elvis could have a kid. Therefore, I must be a musician. Pick up a guitar and be like, "Hi, all, here I watch. Sugar magnolia, blossoms blooming." Out on the road today, I saw a Deadhead sticker on a Cadillac. Little voice inside my head said, "Don't look back. You can never look back." I thought I knew what love was. What did I know? Those days are gone forever. I should just let them go. But I can see you, Thule. Your brown skin shining in the sun. Got your hair slicked back in those Wayfellas on Thule. I can tell you my love for you will still be strong after the boys of summer have gone. Whenever I hear that song now, your brown skin shining in the sun, the first person that pops into my mind, you. I did not hear the new Dark Side of the Moon remake, but I agree. Without even hearing it, it probably sucks. Did you see the pretty ones? Did you see the frightened ones? Haloed sky, goodbye, blue sky, bye bye. Wait, what song? What song did they play? Like years later, when you identified it, what song was it? Or was there several songs? What Pink Floyd songs are they playing on the Weather Channel? All right, where was I? All right. Well, Penny Pounder, I'm like what? I'm an hour and almost 2 hours in. Wow. The meat and potatoes was much earlier. We've covered all that. I don't feel like repeating myself. The point of the stream happened long ago. We're winding down now. We've gotten to drunk and tired and singing song mode. The original point of the stream, it was actually a pretty good stream. Talking to Horsehead, talking to even Totem, the broken clock. We talked about the whole rent situation, my landlord, how my brother and I can afford rent easily at some of these places, but they want us to have 3 times in earnings. So you got to pay the rent, but you got to have like 3 times as much in your bank account every month, which is like ridiculous. And we talked about rich versus poor. And then we started going into songs and blah, blah, blah. Nickelback came up. The stream has deviated. You're just late to the, like always, you're late to the party. That's what I was saying. I'm trying to think, what song would they play by the Pink Floyd? I'm like, that doesn't fit the Weather Channel. I mean, there might be a few exceptions, but I'm like, what? I don't know. Totem says he's the best broken clock. But actually, wouldn't you give that award to JT? He's your buddy. You're his bitch. You should say JT is number 1 broken clock. You're number 2. I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. I think another beer. Do I get off or do I have one more beer? What do you guys think? Well, I'll do a countdown and we'll come back. Hold on. Ugh. I was thinking, it took longer than a minute. I remember, like, maybe some of you remember this. Not to get all nostalgic, but when I was a kid, and even into my teenage years, if you went into, like, let's say a mall or a grocery store or a McDonald's, the in-store music, it wasn't the real song. It was like a Muzak elevator instrumental rendition. And I think what happened is once the internet took off and Napster and music downloading and all that shit, I think these record companies realized we're losing money here. We might as well license the actual song as opposed to a musical rendition. Because, yeah, in my younger days, you'd go into any of these retail or whatever, and it was always like, it was never the real song. It was a instrumental rendition. And, yeah, I'm assuming, I honestly don't remember when that changed, but for the past 20 years now, you hear the actual song. But there was a time you'd hear, like, elevator music, musical renditions of popular songs. Like on the Weather Channel, you hear that in like stores and shit. And at some point, I actually wasn't paying attention. At some point, they actually played the real songs as opposed to the, musical. Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking you for that. It's just because my brother was kind of like that. He didn't get into music the way me and my sister did. He eventually kind of got into it. He listened to all my albums. But yeah, he wasn't as quick to take to music. Good for you. If you want to come on panel, you can meet her. I'll let you talk to her if you show your face and come on my panel. So if you love her that much, I'll get you guys on, but you got to actually come on. You can't disappear. I know you're a bit shy, but, you can't be shy all your life, man. Totem, if you want to meet Cassandra, that's cool. Come on my panel. I want to see your face. Your reward will be talking to Cassandra. Yeah, that's a good point. There weren't commercials. It was just continuous musical rendition music. Now it's real music plus commercials. And I don't know exactly when that change happened. Was I in my 20s? I don't recall. And that's another good point, Broken Clock. Nowadays, you never hear that anymore. There was a time they used to play music in elevators. Well, I don't know about in Sweden or Norway. Some people remember there was a time you would hear like it was called elevator music. You get in the elevator, you hear like. Then again, I live close. I've been New York City and Philadelphia are very close. Maybe it was more common in taller buildings. You used to hear like music in the elevator. Well, I'm trying to help you overcome your anxiety, Totem. It's the least I can do for you. Come out of your shell. Ghost of Penny Pounder, you misspelled it. I want Totem. He wants you to CUM on his panel. No, I want him to CUM on my backside. I want him to COME on my panel. He can CUM, but somewhere else. Okay, I think we're winding down because I don't feel like singing Supertramp. So I'll hit the 2-hour mark. It's been a while since I streamed. I'm glad I came on. Vent some frustrations. I can tell you about the job, but I'd rather upload the video. I was driving around the other day. I'll upload that maybe or not, and we'll go from there. Anything else? Have we covered all bases? Yeah, it's comparable. But Lone Hiker, you're 40, right? You're my brother's age. You're 40 years old. You don't recall even though you're not a music guy, you don't recall in your childhood going into a shopping mall or a McDonald's, Burger King, or a grocery store and hearing, musical instrumental renditions of popular songs. Even if you know what the songs were, you don't recall. This is very common, at least here. Yeah, at some point it changed the actual song, but for years when I was growing up, you'd hear like musical renditions in, public shopping spaces. You're always here. So whether a stream is really good or really shitty, you don't seem to be. The Broken Clock seems to have no bearing on that. Good streams versus bad streams. You're one of my loyal starlings, so you're always here. So no, I can't attribute your presence to a better stream or even a worse stream, to be honest, because you're always fucking here. So no, you can't take credit, but I can't bash you for that, good or bad. Rafterman asked, "Did you not listen?" I see. I remember. I have a memory. I remember. No, Lone Hiker was telling me once, some time ago, before he got all fucked up and weird, which he still kind of is. He was telling me that he was just. I was surprised. I'm like, but yeah, he's explained he was not into music. Like Brother Click wasn't as into music. Lone Hiker was even more extreme. Apparently, he wasn't a music guy. Well, you're my starling and my buddy, but you're not my starling buddy. You're definitely a starling. I don't have starlings. Starlings are you guys, you people, not all of you, but starlings are the ones, if we were to go over to, let's say, I don't know, DBFs, I haven't been there in a while, we'll see a lot of the same names like Totem, Lone Hiker, Cassandra, Horsehead. And then if we go to, I don't know, who's someone else, Dumb, we'll see a lot of the same names. It's the people who fly around together to different nests. That's what a starling is. And yes, you are very much a starling. I'm just looking at what are we talking about now? Are we talking about me or are we talking about this? I guess he'd be exposed to music, but it didn't register. I don't know how it works. You can ask him. Because like when I was a little boy, you'd be in the car and your parents have the music on, whatever they want to listen to. You hear things like, kids in Bristol are sharp as a pistol when they do the Bristol stomp. Really something when the joint gets jumping when they do the Bristol stomp. Even if this wasn't like something I was crazy about, I heard the song enough times. I'd be, the Bristol stomp. Kids in Bristol are sharp as a pistol. Do. Like you're saying, when you would be exposed to music, it didn't sink in. It didn't you didn't think, it's this song again. Oh, he was talking about your analogy, horse. I wasn't. I'm kind of slow here. I'm behind in chat because I'm just like I can't focus. Yeah, you're saying he's like a back pimple. Okay, you're talking about. Okay, I'm like, what in that way? But it's funny. Lone Hiker and I had that in common, Rafterman. I was the kid, the little boy, before in the pre-internet days. My father had a bunch of. I should try to dig them out. Here in the Northeast, we have. I don't know about where Lone Hiker is, but in New York City, New Jersey, Long Island, we have. There was Hagstrom. Hagstrom was actually one of yours, Totem. He was a Swede, or was he Norwegian? He was from Scandinavia, came to New York at some point, earlier 1900s, and he started this map company. And I loved Hagstrom maps. I would study maps left and right. But I would still pay attention to music when I was in the car. That's what I don't understand, because I love looking at maps too and atlases, but that didn't have any bearing on my comprehension of the music I heard. Well, yeah, there's Rand McNally, but no, I'm talking about Hagstrom, highly localized. They would do county maps, the county map. My father would say, "Hey, don't rip my county map." But I study the maps. They would do maps of the counties of, let's say, okay, the 5 boroughs: Nassau, Suffolk, downstate New York, like Yonkers. What do you call it? Westchester, Rockland, Orange, and about the northern central part of Jersey. All the northern center, like they had an ocean, but not a Burlington. And I just love to just study county maps and know where the county began and ended, where the different municipalities are. Like, I thought this was in this town because that's the mailing address, the zip code. But according to the map, it's actually in the next township. So I used to love that. But that had nothing to do with liking music or not. Good for you. Road cell. I like that. Yes, we're road cells. Yes. I think that's a Spurg thing, quite frankly, because one time I run, not all Spurgs like maps, but love of maps is common among Spurgs. Like some Spurgs love trains and timetables and some like subway lines, some like weather reports. Some like maps. I was very much a map spurg. Like to the point where I would like draw my own little like fictional what they now call geofiction. As a kid, I get a piece of paper and a pencil and draw not a fantasy map of some like, fucking Dungeons and Dragons world. No, I would draw like fake atlases, like road maps of like, and I put borders. This town, this road goes into this next town. Here's the border. Here's the county line. I used to like try to mimic the maps, the Hackster maps. I'll have to pull them out and show you sometime. They're beautiful. I was very much a map spurg, not so much a weather spurg or a train spurg or what's the other one? Like a statistic spurg or a subway spurg. I was very much a road atlas map spurg. And I'm old from as a kid, for Christmas, I wanted like maps of the world and maps of the United States. And I remember at the time, as a little boy, you still had the Soviet Union, you still had Yugoslavia. I remember getting excited. I remember like as a kid, the Soviet Union fell apart and all these new countries now, then Yugoslavia fell apart. Like my first world map was like the USSR and Yugoslavia, and those like new countries came about. So that's nostalgia. You thought I took the garden hose and put it in my pants. Yes, I did that too, but that had nothing to do with maps or music. You can do more than one thing when you're a kid. You sat in your front yard for 2 hours and took notes on every single car. I got to sneeze again. I feel this needs to sneeze. Hold on. Maybe I'll On a side note, the other day, I wonder if I have it on my phone. I took a picture of it. There was one night I was working, because I've been working the past 6, 7 nights. One night I was working, and there was no delivery, finally. But they wanted us to, what's called block. They wanted us to straighten out the store. And I guess no one's done this in a while, because I found this one really, really old can. It was like pineapple slices that had broken open, and there was fucking mold growing on it. Let me see if I can find it. Can I find it? Let's take a look. And I had to, of course, carefully take it to the back. There's a sink, hot water, get rid of the mold, damage it out. But I'm like, I've been getting the sniffles, and I don't have allergies that I know of. I know you can develop allergies later in life, but I'm starting to wonder if this mold and the fact that the store is so screwed up, that's why I'm getting sick. Because it's like, I don't feel sick, but I feel like all sniffly. I've been sneezing a lot. I wonder if it's all this fucking mold in this goddamn store because of neglect. And who knows how long. You see that mold, that growth, like a science experiment, that doesn't happen overnight. That would take weeks, maybe months. That's been there for a while and no one caught it. I'm new to the job. Don't blame me. That must have been there like for the past few months and no one bothered to. Did I eat it? I did. It was delicious. It gave me superhuman powers. Now we can communicate telepathically. Totem, how dare you think that, you animal? I like it. Well, that I agree with you on, Lone Hiker. I like music. It says the difference. I do like music, but I'd rather just listen to the album where I control it. Going to a concert, it's a social event first, music second. So that's more of a normie thing. Even going to the movies, you can watch a movie on TV or DVD, and you like the movie, or you like the movie. But to go to a movie theater, the cinema, or to go to a concert, it's not the movie and the music is secondary. It's a social experience. So yeah, there was no need for me to ever want to go to a concert. I don't even like going to the movies. That it did. A zombie virus. Yes, it did. All right, maybe it's unrelated. Maybe it's just a cold. Maybe the mold has nothing to do with it. Maybe it's got a cold. I don't know. But okay, maybe it's the temperature changes. I don't know. Oh, come on, horse. You belong to the city. You belong to the night. You belong to the city. It's a part of your life. You belong. Yeah. Well, there's no point, lone hiker, in going to a theme park by yourself. So if you don't have friends and people to go with, whether you like theme parks or not, people go to be, it's like a social thing. Again, a social thing. So whether you like concerts or not, whether you like theme parks or not, whether you, or, amusement parks, whether you like, it's like, or movies or not, these are social, it's normies. These are social things first. How much you like them or hate them second. Okay. All right. Hey, Thule, tell me and be honest. Do you remember Art Bell, or you just listen to the Nori shows? Do you remember when Art Bell was actually the host, like every night? Because he went away and he came back, but he was only doing a few days and he left again. Because I was listening to that back when Art Bell was like the host. There was no one had ever heard of Nori, and I lost interest. I haven't listened to it in years. Occasionally, I actually called in one night. We'll talk about it in a minute. But were you, Thule, were you listening to Art Bell, or you didn't pick up? You didn't start with it until Nori? Because I don't even think of it as Coast to Coast AM. I think of it as Art Bell or Nori. Nori's on meh. Art Bell. Well, isn't he still on? I haven't listened in a while. Isn't Nori still on, or did he retire, or is the show off the air now? I don't. I've lost track. Nori's been the host for years now. Art Bell's dead, but is Nori still on? I don't know. Yeah, a few years back, I was listening to the radio one night. This is before I was streaming, before I was diagnosed with autism, before I knew about this neat buck stuff. I was listening to the radio one night, and Nori, it must have been a slow night. Nori had a different guest every hour. Nori had a different guest every hour. And I called in. I forget what the topic was. There's some black dude talking about, what is that strange object in the sky? It has a Hawaiian name. So I called in. I forget what I said. Nori took my call. And I talked to whoever's guest was. Then like an hour or two later, he was still on. He had a different guest every hour. I called in a second time, and he took my call. So I'm thinking, this must be a very slow night. I guess when you have one guest that people want to talk to, you get, the phone lines are jammed. This particular night, he had like a different guest every hour, and I guess people weren't interested. He took my call twice. And he didn't really say much to me. He was just more like, he was almost like, what do you call it? Like, he was the host, but he was just, hey, where are you calling from? East of the Rockies. You're on with whoever. And it was just me talking to the host, or the guest. And it was like, okay, that's nice. Honestly, when me and my brother got that chance to go on Todd's stream that one time, that one magical moment a few years back, that meant much more to me than talking to George Nori twice in the same night. So yes, I talked to George Nori and his guests twice in the same fucking night, really slow night. Didn't feel like anything. Getting to meet Todd, but getting to interact with Todd, he took my call, was much more exciting, much more thrilling and invigorating than talking to George Nori twice. I just wanted to share that. I forgot that one thing was about, that object in the sky, Mahana Nu, whatever the hell it's called, that Hawaiian thing. And I can't remember the other thing. I don't remember. It was anticlimactic. You think, because sometimes I could never get through to Art Bell. Phone lines are always jammed. I got through the first time. Like, oh, that's interesting. Called the second time. I got through a second time. Must be a slow night. And it just didn't do anything for me. Meeting Todd was 1,000% more exciting than talking to George Norrie twice in the same night. No, I'm officially diagnosed. A couple years ago, I got an official diagnosis. I suspected autism, Asperger's, since I first learned about it in my mid-20s for like 15, 20 years. But I officially got diagnosed. I've shared that before. You know that. I know you're a broken clock. You can say you're playing the fool, but come on, you've seen enough of my streams. I've shared screen of my diagnoses. You know damn well I'm diagnosed. Don't be foolish. I don't think you're playing the fool. I think you really are a moron. You forgot about it. No, I've shared my diagnoses on screen. I'm official now, but that's only in the past couple years. The stream went somewhere else. Okay. Hey, what the hell? Part of me is like, I want to lay down. Another part's like, well, it's midnight. It's 12:30 here in Jersey. I got to be at work the rest of the week. I'm working Wednesday night. Right now technically it's early Wednesday morning. This is Tuesday night into Wednesday. I'm off. I'm going to be working Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday. So I should try to readjust my pattern. But then I'm like, well, should I stay up because I'm supposed to be awake at this time? I don't know. Yeah, man. I talked to George Norrie twice in the same night. But talking to Todd was even better. But talking to you is super, super, super exciting. How are you, Endymion? Okay, that doesn't mean shit. Seriously, this is all legalese. It's all paperwork. It's all, like I've always said, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. If we consider, I call it the Church of Modern Medicine. They don't care what you think you are or what someone in training thinks you are. All they care is about proper documentation. You need to get a priest who's been ordained by the Church of Modern Medicine to officially sanctify you as autistic. Your speculation is meaningless. A student in training, it's interesting, but it's meaningless. There probably are some people who are not autistic, but were misdiagnosed. So on paper, they're autistic. And there are people like me for many years who are autistic. I knew I was autistic when I first heard about it 20 years ago, Asperger's, but I wasn't diagnosed. So it doesn't matter if you really are or really aren't. All that matters is if you have that piece of paper from the Church of Modern Medicine and you need a real ordained priest or priestess to give you that piece of paper. Not, I'm studying psychology. You might be autistic. Because they'll dismiss that because it's like anyone can be an armchair psychologist. You need that. You got to have the priest who has that official piece of paper from the church saying that he's bona fide and qualified to call you an Asperger, Spurg, autist. So, yeah. No, I am diagnosed and I've shared it before. It's downstairs in the other computer. I'll share a screen some other time. Or you can go back and find the stream. I've shared it a couple times where I actually showed the scans of my official diagnoses. I've got a bunch of shit. Beppis knew my diagnoses better than I did. Let's see. It was autism, ADHD, PTSD, alcohol abuse disorder, but minor. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm an alcoholic, but she gave me minor alcoholism, which I don't know if I agree with that or not. Give me a sec. Man, is that good? Yeah, so I that's the one I disagree with. Mild alcohol abuse disorder. But yeah, PTSD, ADHD, autism. There are a few others I'm forgetting. But I'll show it again sometime. No, you don't understand. She's still in seminary school. She's not an actual ordained priestess yet. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Why is my mouse? I go to drag the mouse over. It doesn't move. Must be crumbs or something on the mouse pad. Okay. Yes. She's pretty smart. She's a genius. She's amazing for a girl. No, I'm kidding. Now, she she would remember. I would say, what are my diagnoses again? I'd start going on the list. I'm like, there's one I'm forgetting. And Beppis would I said, oh, Beppis, you must have a notebook next to you. No, she claims she just remembered. She remembers my life better than I do, which is why I do miss her. She could be a bit problematic. She never wanted to show her face. She was always kind of standoffish. She was afraid of some stalker. But I do miss the fact that she remembered things about me that I'd forgotten. And I admired that. It's nice to have someone, oh, yeah, which one am I missing on the list? Oh, yeah, good job, Beppis. So, yeah, I do miss Beppis. I wish she wouldn't be so scared and just say, fuck it, who cares? Some dude in Germany is obsessed with me. Who gives a shit? But she's very timid. Yes, since she's been gone, we definitely haven't had any female compared to her. None of the handful of women who come here, the Starlingettes, none hold a candle to Beppis. I agree with you, Cassandra. Oh, yeah, nothing I've forgotten. When are you going to come on and play some keyboard for us? Everyone's excited. Doggo is going to play some guitar. You got to play some keyboard. We haven't, don't think I've forgotten, Missy. Don't think I've forgotten. I haven't. You're lucky I'm tired and working a lot and run ragged. I haven't forgotten. Well, yeah, and Cassandra said she'll gladly talk to you if you agree to come on panel and show your face. Don't be shy. She won't bite you. And if she gets too crazy, I'm the host. I'm George Norrie. I'll keep her in line. So don't worry. Don't be scared of Cassandra. You have nothing to fear, Totem. We want to see your beautiful face. And you can look, and your reward, you can see Cassandra's beautiful face. So you can talk to Cassandra, but you got to come on. And don't worry, I'll protect you if she's so in love with you that she wants to rip your clothes off. I'll be here to save you. So come on, don't be scared. You can't be scared all your life, Totem. Yes. Yeah, Cassandra is going to perform for us. Now, start suggesting some songs you'd like to hear on piano. I had said The Entertainer. Now I'm thinking Axel F. Beverly Hills Cop. Do. Well, wait, but whatever. You guys, you decide what you want Cassandra to play, and she'll play it. She will perform for you. Okay. Are we winding down? Have we talked about what? Rent monies, and we can afford the rent, but not the 3 times in earnings bullshit, and rich versus poor, and Nickelback came up, and something about in-store music and the Grateful Dead. I can't remember now, and I don't know. Bro C got a haircut. None of you complimented on him. I'm thinking I should get one soon. I'm thinking about what I might do. I might shave. You've seen me shave before, but instead of a video, maybe I'll do a live shave. I'll plug in my electric razor. There's an outlet down here. And I'll get like a bucket or something so the hair doesn't get all over the place. Maybe I should do a live stream shave. What do you guys think? Would you like to see me do a live stream shave, or is that just stupid? Not what I suggest, what the others suggest, consider. Cassandra is taking requests. Let's see here. We had Wonderwall by Thule. Thule's just Wonderwall. Feel free to make suggestions for Cassandra when she performs for us. Okay, that's one vote, but does anyone else know? Cassandra, you can ignore this request. And I will always love you. You know, what's her name? Whitney Houston had a hit with that, but it was actually Dolly Parton who allegedly wrote that. It was actually a Dolly Parton song that Whitney covered and made more famous. But that song sucks. In another song, we're talking about songs from my teenage years that I wasn't crazy about, but get nostalgia about. There was one song I remember when I was growing up a teenager. I love you always, forever, near or far. We'll stick together everywhere. I will be with you. Everything I will do for you. You've got the most beautiful you've got. That song sucks. It should be fairly simple to play. But, you know, we're talking about getting nostalgic about our teenage years. I never liked that song, but it's like, yeah, I love you always. Oh, Gary Newman, Cars, here in my car. No, 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 no. Here in my car. No, no. That synth solo. No, 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 no. Yeah, maybe we're just spitballing. We're spitballing. Here in my car. Yeah. Man, your suggestions, I know you're a troll, but this is even stupid for a troll. No, we're not playing the Barney song. Actually, the Barney song, what was that? What was I'm trying to think of that song. They changed the lyrics. That was an old song. What was that? This traditional song. I can't remember now. Again, Barney was a show I was a little too old for. I was like, I wasn't quite a teen. I was probably like 11, 12. My younger sister watched it when it was brand new. I was a little, I know Barney, of course, but I was a little too old for that. So that was really my childhood. But I guess for you guys, that was your childhood. So. Well, no, I can't be a troll because I guess you could. I'm the host here. This is my channel, my coffee house. You know, you're choosing to be here. You don't have to be here right now if you don't like it. So if you see me as a troll, you can always walk away. The fact that you come and stay and, you know, no, by definition, I'm not a troll. Not in this context. So whether you're a troll or not, Penny, for you to call me a troll, that's why I say you're a troll. That's something a troll would say. You're a troll. Well, no, I'm the host. This is my channel. You don't like it, go away. Yeah, I think I would like the entertainer. In fact, Cassandra, as you recall, I suggested the entertainer before I even knew that you had played it before. You were like, oh my God, I had to play that when I was younger. So I suggested it. And that must be a sign of some sort. You know what I'm saying? I suggest the entertainer, not knowing that you even know the entertainer. And you're like, oh my God, I used to play. Is this correct? So if that's the case, I think we have our song. Yeah, the entertainer. It's been decided. To hell with all these other stupid suggestions. The entertainer. And if you want to do an encore or do some other songs, that's fine too. I think the entertainer should be your goal. Because I suggested it before I even knew you knew it. Yeah, the entertainer. That'd be beautiful. That's a great, you know. Right. So maybe it was subconscious. I know a lot of people learn the entertainer, so I assume maybe she did too. But still, if it's a common beginner piece and it's a catchy tune, there you go. People are suggesting crazy stuff that you probably don't even know. You know the entertainer. Oh, is that a joke? I know Know. I had to spell his name. You don't know how to spell no. We're talking about Pee Wee Herman. I've lost track here. Paul Rubens. Get out of bed. There'll be no more laughing. That's where anything can happen. As I go, going wacky, going cuckoo at Pee Wee's Playhouse, Mr. But no, I wouldn't ask her to play that. That's probably too complex. Play the entertainer. Anyway, no, you came late to the party, man. You asked what the stream was about. What it was about was established like an hour and a half before you came along. So we've established this. So yeah, we've gone off the rails now. It's a long wind down. When I say we're winding down, the original theme, if we're going to call it that, is no more. We've moved on. So you came late to the party, man. You got to go back and watch. You shouldn't be talking. You should be rewinding. Rewind and watch, what you missed. Oh, I thought that was a little joke. I have no KNOW idea how to spell his name. Yeah. You're talking about Paul Rubens? His real name was like Rubenfeld or Rubenstein or something. But yeah, Paul Rubens. Pee Wee Herman. All right. I'm going to finish my beer and see if I want to have another one or just get off. We are winding down because Penny Pounder, the broken clock, is actually correct. The stream is it was nice. I haven't streamed in a while. I enjoyed it. I got to upload that video, but I'm running out of things to say. I said my piece about rents and whatever else we talked about. We talked about rich versus poor and the Grateful Dead or whatever the fuck else. And, just anything else anyone wants to really discuss before I go bye-bye. I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you what. You guys think about it. Think about it. Don't, go nuts, but think about it for 1 minute. Oh, yeah, I just thought of something as I was taking a piss. When it's time to end this, which might be sooner than later, I forgot. I wrote a poem. I don't even. Here's the funny thing. I don't even recall writing it, but I wrote this poem. Let me see if I can find it. Or is it on my other computer? It might be on my other computer. It was, I'm trying to find it. It was about you guys, the Starlings. But I don't know where it is now. Oh, it's in here. Might be on the other computer. And it wasn't that great a poem, but I wrote it about you guys, the Starlings, and I'm trying to remember where I have it. I don't know where it is. And I wrote it, I guess it was Drunk and Tired one night. I wrote it like a month or two ago, and I forgot I even wrote a poem, but it was about you guys, the Starlings. So I could try to find it and read it, or I'll read it next time. I wrote this poem about the Starlings. I don't remember why I wrote it, or I barely remember writing it. I must have been really drunk one night, but I saved it as like a notepad document. So I'll read that, if not this time, next time. Remind me. I got a Starling poem, but I don't know where I put it. I don't know where right now I can't find it. I found, I typed it, saved it, forgot about it, rediscovered it, and now I don't know where it is. I don't remember. Oh, next time. If you remind me, if I can be bothered, All right. So can't read the poem right now, and I think we're running out of time here. We're running out of time. Time is of the essence. I think we've talked about all we want. Actually, hold on. I'll do this fine. Hold on. I'm drunk and tired and don't want to do this, but I'll put this out there briefly. Yeah, see, I wrote a poem, forgot about it, saved it apparently, rediscovered it, forgot about it again. Now I'm not even sure where it is. It might be on I got these two, it might be on the other computer. I can put it on a flash drive. It's a short poem, but I said, instead of reading someone else's poem, let me write a poem for a change. So I wrote a poem. Probably sucks, but at least I'll share it. Something original. So I'll share it with you if I can find it. I forgot about it. It just dawned on me. Oh, yeah, that poem again. That I don't want to talk about. I'm going to upload the video because I said more in the video than I want to start going into right now. Watch the video when I upload it, and then we can talk about the job. So, yes, it's a fair question. But my focus was rent, and we sort of got off topic. I'll talk more about it, but I'd rather just watch the video, which I will upload when I get a chance. I think I want to splice something into it. So that'll be a video. Yes, I will. Okay. I really wasn't planning to panel, but I'll put this out. If anyone wants to come on briefly, you can. If not, fuck it. I'm just putting that there. I'm like, I didn't offer a link this stream, so I said, all right, let me put a link out because I might have one more beer. I'm still on the fence. I'm like, I'm winding down, but I kind of want one more beer, so maybe. But you don't have to come on if you don't want to. Don't try to save a dying stream. I was gonna read the poem, but I'm like, oh, I think it's on the other computer. Oh well. It will all be revealed when I upload that video. Maybe I'll go edit the video real quick. I want to splice something in. There's like a video, but I had this one little other video I wanted to splice in at this one point. That's why I didn't upload it yet. But it was like, yeah, I'm not trying to be evasive. Your questions will be answered. I just don't feel like repeating myself because I already made this fucking video. You haven't seen it yet, but just because you haven't seen it, it exists, and I will share it. I'm not being privative. I just don't want to talk about this now because it's in the video. Watch the video, and then we can talk. Because I just don't feel like going into this now. I really don't. But I'm not ashamed. We can talk about it when I upload the video. Not now. It's not the appropriate time right now. This was more about rent and me and my brother going to the place, and the lady was very helpful, but we learned, my brother, everything was going, we were asking like, what's included, what's covered. Okay. In-unit laundry. Awesome. Okay. We set up, gas and electric and water, sewer. We get that. Oh, on-site trash disposal. Great. What about renter's insurance? Okay, we need it, but she has the cheapest one because I was going to get renter's insurance through my auto insurance. But then she was like, be careful with that because sometimes, like, let's say your car gets junked. You don't pay your auto insurance that month. You might forget about the tacked on fee of the homeowner's insurance. And then your auto insurance will say, he didn't pay his renter's insurance. So she said, in my experience, get a separate renter's insurance. I'm like, okay, interesting. It's a very good guy. I took notes. Very good, very helpful. This lady, she's an old lady. My brother was saying 60s, clerical, not sexy, but not creeped out. This is an old postmenopausal white woman who's like just very business. And but when she said, yeah, you got to prove that you earn 3 times the rent in your with your jobs collectively. My brother's like, shit, we might be able to do 2 or even 2.5, 3. That's asking way too much. So my brother was actually dismayed, but oh well. It was about $2,600, which is cheap for New Jersey. And there was a special, Jasmine. There was a special. Usually when you rent an apartment, I don't know what you call it in New Zealand. You guys, you let a flat or whatever you guys say. We say rent apartments. When you rent an apartment, you got to give them a security deposit, which is a month and a half's worth of rent. This place said, don't have to do that. You give us 1 month's rent and we'll make that the security deposit. And the first month is free. So instead of 1.5 times that, you give us $2,600. We make that the deposit. You don't have to pay rent for the first month, and you just pay. So basically, from our perspective, we would just be paying $2,600 every month, starting from the get-go, as opposed to paying a month's rent plus a month and a half security deposit up front. So it was a very good deal, and we can afford this. But by the way, with your combined earnings, you got to pay $2,600, but you got to be able to prove you earn 3 times as much as that. I'm like, Rent is monthly, not weekly. Monthly. $2,600, which is cheap for New Jersey. And it's a special. Once these, like 4 units, once they're all rented out, the special goes away. And we'd have to, if we wanted to rent there, we'd have to pay $2,600 plus 26 plus a half, whatever that would be. It would have to be 2, 3. So we have to pay $3,900 plus $2,600 just for the first month. Whereas with this, you just pay rent for the first month. But it's monthly, not weekly. And we got to prove that we make 3 times. We got to prove we make close to $8,000, $8,000 a month to rent a fucking $2,600 apartment. For Jersey, that's actually cheap, Penny. But you still live with your parents, so you wouldn't even know. You're like Rafterman. He's got his own place that his mommy co-signed for. I don't feel like explaining this to you. Go back and watch the earlier video. I think I'm going to get off soon. Not really, Lone Hiker. This is New Jersey. This isn't Rome, New York. New Jersey, New York City, Long Island, Eastern Pennsylvania. It's not like that out in Waynesboro. It's not like that up in Rome. But when you're in Jersey or New York City or Philadelphia or extreme Eastern Pennsylvania or Long Island or extreme Southern New York, this is life here. Okay? But that's actually cheap, and he and I can swing it because minimum wage is higher here. We could easily afford the $2,600, but we can't afford to have 3 times as much in earnings per month. Divide 2,600 by 4. That would be your answer. Divide that by 4. That would answer your question if you want the weekly. That's dirt cheap. You're very lucky. And yet you have all that money. You're shocked. You would not see. We were talking before to Horse said about rich versus poor. If you own 2 houses, you're pretty rich by Texas standards. You would not be able to afford 2 houses in New Jersey. If 2,600 makes your eyebrows raise, then you're rich in your area. You might be considered poor in this area. Horse said was making this big deal. I'm not rich. Well, in Texas, you're pretty fucking rich. We went through all this. But Lone Hiker, do they require do they have that 3 months requirement? Because Horse in Texas and Cassandra in California, Arizona was saying the same thing. So do they have that 3,000? If I were to move up there, I'd get the similar job, but be making much less. So I'd be in the same position. It's all, equational. All right, I'm going to bring them on briefly. I get it off soon. I don't want to go past the 3-hour mark. I'm already at like 2:40 something. So we'll bring on briefly. Here's Denmark guy. What's up, Denmark guy?
Man, what's going on?
Well, I enjoy talking to you, but I'm winding down. I'm working every fucking night. I have a night off tonight, and I don't want to repeat myself for the 1,000th time. Nothing against you, but my brother and I found a place that had a really good offer for this area. We could rent this apartment for cheap-ish by New Jersey standards, but they want you to be able to prove that you can earn 3 times the rent amount. So the rent amount, the amount of rent is $2,600, but they want you to be able to earn 3 times as much in a month. And we can afford the rent, but we do not have 3 times as much per month. We can afford it, $2,600, but we can't afford, what is it, $7,800 or whatever it is. So that's where I am. It's disheartening because the landlord wants us to get out. He wants to kick us out by February or March. I could probably push it to like July, but ultimately we got to get out of this house anyway. So I'm in this and I'm working this job and I'm run ragged. That's what's going on with me. What's going on with you?
That is interesting, and that's yeah. But I just woke up and I took gabapentin before I went to sleep, and it improves your sleep, man. I felt like I've slept really good. So, and now it's 7 a.m. It's a new bright day in the Nordics, and soon it will be Christmas. But I take these user tests online sometimes, and this time I got
I'm sorry. You take what test? What test online?
Like user test or interviews. What do you think about this shit?
I thought you were saying user. You're saying interview.
Yeah, it could be an interview, but it could also be a test. I don't know what it's called. It's like test this app or something.
Okay.
Anyways, I got a small amount of money that I can redeem in the US for gift cards or even a prepaid Visa, but it requires different kind of information, and I'm fully respectful of you about not wanting to give out information. But maybe I'll see here if there's something that doesn't require. Do you have an Amazon account? Don't you?
Yeah, Dumb said something. He sent me a message a week or so ago. He said you wanted my phone number, and I'm like, I'm not opposed, but here it's principle. I'm not. You use Signal app. You don't even like your phone number being out there. You're very privative. I'm like, why do you need my phone number? I'm not afraid to give my phone number out, but if you don't give yours out, why? It's hypocritical. It's not. He can't have my number. It's more like, well, I can give him my number, but this is the guy who doesn't give his number out. What does he need my number for? He's all about being privative. So yeah, I was confused.
By accident, I just chose a gift card for Amazon.com. So yeah, it's the same shit I got last time. But yeah, but anyways, I'll just add the 11.38 USD to my Amazon account. And if you ever want a small gift, you can just if you need to wipe your ass and you don't and you can't afford the toilet paper, you can just reach out.
I'm surprised it wouldn't just international exchange, whatever it is, 11 and change US. Wouldn't they just change that over to euros or whatever you guys use? I'm surprised they don't convert it. You can't use it.
But this by accident, I just choose my Amazon.com gift card. It was not on purpose. I clicked on it, but I thought I could go out of the window on the browser. But yeah, I just picked up. It could be for one of your. It could be a gift. You need to create what is it called? A gift list for Amazon. On that, nobody can see your address or anything like that. Just like Todd did and Dom did, and then they can buy shit that gets sent. Maybe it doesn't even get sent to your address, but like a pickup point somewhere or some shit. So if you need something, you should just add it to a list.
All right, I'll make a list. But Dumb was supposed to. I'm bad with technology. Dumb was supposed to help me figure that out, and he didn't do much of anything. So tell you what, tell Dumb to tell me how to set that up, and I'll do that because I'm really at a loss how to do that.
Yeah, I'll try that, but I'm not sure that Dumb is the best IT support that is available. Maybe
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, IT support. He is not the best, but I figured, well, he did it. He somehow got it to work, so he can impart some knowledge. But apparently, he has no idea, even though he did it once upon a time. So yeah, he's far from the best IT support. I understand. I got to figure, like everything else in life, I got to do it on my own. I'm not Rafter Man. I can't have my mother co-sign Elise. Not that I want her to. I'm not, like Dumb. I can't get Dumb to help me. I like everything else in life. I got to do it alone. But I'll set it up. I'll look into it. I haven't forgotten. I'm working. I went back to work. I'm working overnight at his grocery store. I got a video about it, which I haven't uploaded yet, but I will. I'm just run ragged. It's my night off tonight, but I'm just very, very tired because I'm working sick. I'm lifting and lugging, and I guess it's good exercise, but I'm not a 20-year-old kid anymore. I'm in my 40s, and it takes a toll on me. Yeah.
I work warehouse. It's only the first couple of weeks, and then after that, your body gets used to it. You just sleep a little bit more, eat some more protein, and then you have gabapentin. Take that shit before sleeping. I tell you. You can Google gabapentin and slow wave sleep. It increases your deep sleep. I feel way more rested. The first 10 to 20 minutes when I wake up, the gabapentin is still in the blood and it makes you a little bit drowsy. But after that, I'm way more I feel way more rested compared to when I don't take it.
I haven't. I'll tell you, I have not been taking my pills, which is actually a good thing. I'm getting out there without the need of pills, but I'm drunk right now. If I were to take a gabapentin, would I really crash? Yeah. I mean, I'm very, yeah.
I don't know I don't know. I only take 300 to 600 milligrams, but I wouldn't, a high dose is anything above like 1,500 or something. So I don't know what you're prescribed, but
I think it's, I want to say, I think it's 500 or 600 milligrams.
Yeah, so that is quite a low dose. So, but anyways, yeah, gabapentin, as with a lot of other drugs, in higher doses, I think it's I tried to look up on it. I think it's above 600 or 900. It has a minor negative impact on your respiratory system, which means if you also have another comorbidity like sleep apnea, or if you drink a lot before bed, it could be bad. But so there's a minor warning, but it's not made it to official warning yet. So yeah, if you have sleep apnea, you should probably only take a low dose. So, but I wouldn't combine it with a large amount of alcohol, especially not before sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I don't think it would kill me, but I might not get the same effect because I'm so drunk right now. If I took a gabapentin, it might actually make things worse. I might be super duper drunk and tired. I might wake up still feeling drunk. That's why it might not be wise to take it now because I've had so many beers. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, taking gabapentin with and I told you about this. I had this. I bought this years ago. It just sits here. I don't take it too often, but this is I told you, melatonin with L-theanine.
Yeah.
I took it, and it actually made me go into deep. I had some crazy dreams, but but yeah,
I take it every night. Every night I take melatonin. I love that shit, man. And in Denmark, because the Nordics are so like regulated, we can't get it over the counter, so it's a fucking prescription drug.
That's so actually funny. That's funny because in many cases, American drugs are expensive, big pharma, et cetera, et cetera. This is one of those rare examples, or rare exceptions rather, where over the counter, we call over the counter. You don't need a prescription. You can buy melatonin, L-theanine in America, but apparently the Danes, it's a controlled substance. It's a prescription. So it's one of the few things you can just go to the store and buy this. No questions asked. You guys have to get a prescription. So that's interesting. It's one of the,
Yeah. But now the funny part is due to the EU, we call it the internal market. Everything that is legal in one country that is a physical good can be traded to another country without any controls. So that means that I buy my melatonin from Poland because it's the cheapest.
Because it's legal in Poland. So you can't buy it in your own country, but you can import it from Poland because it's legal there. Okay.
Yeah, and then and the authorities, they can't say anything about it. So it's so fucking funny. And there's multiple small similar stories about other stuff. Yeah.
Well, like I was trying to tell Totem earlier, the United States of America is continental in size. So he was saying, how come you can't find a place to live, but these other Americans can do this? And I was saying, well, America is like a continent. You got to think of our states like European countries. European countries are comparable to American states. So every state is different. You can do this in this state, but not that state. There's still the federal. So in many ways, Europe is comparable to the U.S. in size, and the individual countries are like states. I think Totem doesn't fully understand that, but it sounds like you kind of get it. You've got what you're describing is like Poland has these laws, Denmark has these laws, and you have this overhanging European Union. That's what the USA is. New Jersey has these laws. Nevada or Wyoming has these laws. Different laws, big, huge country, but there's that federal government oversight. So I was trying to explain it to Totem. He doesn't get it, but I think you kind of get it, how Denmark and Poland are different countries, but you're effectively states in this European Union.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Totem. I was just hoping Totem was paying attention because that's what I was saying. Yeah.
But isn't Totem a Swedish guy or something?
He's a Swede. That's right. He's a Swede living in Norway. So Norway is not part of the EU, but still, Norway is like a state. Norway would be comparable to a state within this. Norway to Europe is what a state would be in the United States. So it's.
Yeah. But yeah, the European Union is basically just European people, well, primarily white European people and European culture. But the states, what you call the United States, but they differ a lot. Denmark to Spain is a lot. It's really different in culture and what people buy and sell and all this stuff. So yeah, right. But in the U.S. in the U.S. you have of course historical settlements from different kind of ethnic groups that
real. I'm gonna cut you off real quick. So this, okay. I know Totem is being facetious, maybe sarcastic. You know it's not a short taxi ride, but to put things in perspective, London, England is closer to Moscow, Russia, than New York is to Los Angeles. And it's all the same country. You go from LA, travel east to NYC. It's all the USA, but it's a greater distance than London to Moscow. So to put things in perspective. Okay, what were you saying, Denmark guy?
It's so funny how time has changed, because I remember 10 years ago, no, let me say 10, 12 years ago, it was like everybody in my age was like, oh, we need to go to the US to make this road trip or something. It was like, and now everything is just shit. It's like, man, the image of a country can, in modern days with technology, can change really, really, really fast.
Well, on a unrelated note, have you ever considered doing a European road trip? Go from Denmark to Spain or Denmark to Greece? Have you ever thought about driving around the EU?
But it's quite common in normal in Europe. After you've completed your gymnasium at around 18, 19, you take 1 to 2 years off where you work all kinds of shit jobs and save money, and then you typically take a trip somewhere. Maybe it's not in Europe, but a lot of people that take the Interrail, like our, what is it called? Our Jew guy. What is the
Doggo, right? The train,
resident Jew.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
his name is Doggo. Yes, he took a train ride around Europe. But I'm asking you, forget about trains. What about car? Have you ever thought about, I don't know if you have a car or not. Do you have an automobile or no?
No, man. We don't have car culture here where I'm in Denmark. No. But there are some places in Denmark, in Jutland, with that cocaine Andy guy, where having a car is quite important, but not in here where I am.
Well, I understand, but have you ever thought about buying a car, just have a little car, and maybe taking a trip to France or Switzerland? Have you ever thought of that, or no?
Yeah, but you can. Yeah, people rent a car, and then they
okay, fine. I'm asking, have you ever thought of renting a car and taking a European road trip? Is that something you would do, or just never? You've been to Germany, but you've never been to Spain. You've never been to Greece. You've never been to Poland.
Yeah.
Poland. Have you ever thought about taking a little European road trip?
Yeah, but I've thought about it because I'm one of few from my generation that haven't done it. But typically people do it with train. But yeah, I could do it with car. Yeah, I could do it.
But so then why did you never do it? If it was typical of your generation, why did you never do it?
Because I was depressed when I was young, because I just wanted this fucking girlfriend, and I saw all my other friends, they had hope because they had, then they were depressed. They were not permanent stuck in depression, because then once a year they kissed a girl or some shit. Then they chased that dopamine high, and then I can go on Interrail and maybe I'll meet my fucking wife and shit, and I just lost all hope already back then. So I was like, yeah, I had friends, they went on Interrail and they asked me if I wanted to join. I said, they didn't know I was depressed, but that was the reason. But I told them, I would rather just work. So that's the short explanation for me.
Okay. Cool.
Can you feel is your muscles sore from the physical movements?
Muscles are sore, and because I'm working night after night, a rest day, and then my day off, I stayed up later, tried to get some sleep. My sleep pattern's off. Yeah, I know tomorrow night I'm gonna be screwed. I know I'm gonna be like half asleep, but I'll get back into the swing of things. Yes, it definitely messes up my circadian rhythm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My body, I don't know if you know that term. My body cycle clock, it's off. Yes.
Yeah, I fully understand. Yours. Yeah. How do you say it? Circadian rhythm. Yeah.
Circadian rhythm. Circadian. Yeah.
Yeah. Yours must be so fucked from all this, like.
Yes, very, very much so. Yes.
Yeah. So that's good luck with that. Yeah, that can take some time. I hope that you succeed with that.
Well, the problem is I'm going to work. I've been working the past 6-7 days. I'm off tonight. I'm going to work another 6-7 days. Once I get back into the swing, but my day off, my pattern gets screwed up. And today, my brother and I had to, my pattern's off. So my brother and I had to go to this, talk to the lady about renting or leasing or letting an apartment or flat. and it just, it took a lot out of me having my pattern being off, because I'd normally be in bed at that time. So it's just, yeah.
Yeah. What about let's say you had more stability in the economy? Could you actually, with your dual income, like dual normie jobs, could you be approved for a somewhat cheap home in a somewhere or a okay place to live?
You mean to buy or to rent? Buy or rent?
To buy.
I'm not sure. I kind of don't want to own. I don't want to own. If we have to go that route, we'll look into it. I really don't want to own a property. I don't want to be responsible for a leaky roof or cutting the grass, mowing the lawn. I don't want to be responsible for that. But we might have to look, because like I said, we can afford the rent, but we don't have 3 times the rent in monthly earnings monthly. So maybe we might have to look at that, seeing if there's some program where we can get a cheap mortgage, try to buy a house, have this like government program match it. We might have to go that path. But I'd rather not own. I don't want to be an owner. I don't want the assets. I don't want the responsibility. I'd rather not be an owner.
Yeah, I understand. You should really. I know it's a big investment, but you should look into doing what maybe either the tiny home stuff, because that is not high maintenance and it's cheap to destroy, to change. But you could also do the off grid shit. Maybe not going off grid, but buying a van you can live in with electricity or shit. Wouldn't it be something?
I remember before Dumb met Donda, he had these fantasies too. It's not reality. You can't live in a van. It's not reality. Technically, it's illegal to sleep in your vehicle. Unless you're.
Is it like?
What?
It's like that in the U.S., so people get arrested and shit.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to. If you find a designated trailer park, we call them, where you pay the fee, but it's the same as renting. You can't just pull over on the side of the road and sleep. If the cops come up, they'll say you can't sleep in your car. You can't sleep in your car. You can't live in a van unless you pay the fees to park your van someplace designated for that. So no, you can't really live in. It's not really realistic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, but Dom has been living the normie life. Wow, I'm really amazed. Yeah, he's like, buying $15 beers and having his wife with him, and that's he made it to a normie. That's crazy.
Well, Dumb was always a normie. He was always normie. He was what we called a failed normie. He was a failed normie, and later in life, he got his shot. He was always a normie in terms of social interaction. He just couldn't get a girlfriend. A failed normie who finally found someone. So I'm happy for him, but he was always a normie to me. I like the guy, but he was always a normie who couldn't get a girlfriend, and that was his big frustration. He was a failed normie, but a normie nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah. He was married, like a Chad married, quite young, Yeah. It's the life of a Chad. And he just cries on the internet, and women, just pop up and want to save him,
Yeah.
That's the life. That is the true life of a Chad. I have to say that is, imagine that, who you have to be a giga Chad to do that these days,
Dumb is a Giga Chad. So yeah, he's a Giga Chad. He found his woman.
Yeah, what is this guy Totem saying? And I'm saying typically call him a have yeah, he understands he does, yeah.
I'm curious. You have this icon present, a box, this red box with the bow. How did you do that? You created an account on StreamYard?
No.
How are you able to add a personal picture?
When you join, you just click with the mouse button on your avatar picture that is just it's just like a nothing, and then you can add a picture.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
What was it with Cassandra wanted to perform tonight or something?
She wants to come on and play some keyboard, musical keyboard. When she was younger, she took keyboard piano lessons, and she wants to come on and play some music for us.
Is
Do you
that
have
is that a real agreement she has made, or is it just something you're making up?
Somewhere in between. She does play the keyboard. She got all defensive when I asked her to come on, but a lot of people want it. So, yes, she plays the keyboard and she claims she's going to come on, though I think she's putting it off because she doesn't really want to come on. But do you have any suggestions, any songs you'd like to hear her play?
Yeah. I will. I don't. I will. I like Afro American 50s, 60s music, like blues, soul, jazz, maybe some Marvin Gaye or something like that. If she if she can perform like that, like what's going on, the boomer day, yeah, was that the boomer days? What's going? All these concerts where they raised money for. It's the boomer mindset. They believe if you raise as much money, they will save, the Africans forever, and shit. It's like reality doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yep. No, I know what you're saying, but yeah, okay. You made me think of a song. Maybe Cassandra can learn this one. 96 Tears, do 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 from that time period. 96 Tears, do 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 do. Yeah, maybe you should look up 96 Tears, or even better, you said Marvin Gaye, 96 Tears, or what's it called? In a either 96 Tears. You'd probably know it if you heard it. 96 Tears. Or something that's keyboard driven. Na 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 In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, baby. All right, Cassandra, you've got homework. I asked others for suggestions, and their suggestions sucked. Denmark guy, you've inspired something. If not the entertainer, we want to hear 96 Tears. All three, entertainer into 96 Tears into In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, baby. And yeah, the broken clock is right. Doot doot. That's a good keyboard song. Doot 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 doot. Yeah, play the cover, Hot Butter, the cover version of Popcorn. That's a great, I had said Axel F, which is, what do you call it? Beverly Hills Cop. Play something that's keyboard driven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm running out of beer here, man. I'm glad you came on. I'm tired, but I'll do this again. I'll upload that video. I'll probably get off in a moment. Anything else you or anyone wants to say? Do you have questions for them or for me? Does anyone in the audience have questions for Denmark guy and anything we want to say here?
How many is watching the show? Can I see it? No, I can't see it.
6. I can't see it. No, I think it's 9. Mine says 9. Who knows? These aren't entirely accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard from Senesis? What happened? He used to be here nearly.
Well, first of all, I think she's trying to tell us she'll play 96 Tears. 96 Tears are In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. No, I haven't heard from Genesis. He pops up from time to time. Why? Did something happen? You guys got into an argument or something?
No, I would just like to hear an update on one of several resident chats lives. How they're progressing in the chat.
I thought you and Genesis and Dumb and what's his name, Dev Pike were all in some group together. I thought you're asking me. I thought you guys were all buddies.
No, we're not.
No,
it kind of like it. It kind of like there's no Genesis was not really active, and Dev Pike was spurking, and Dev Pike was there for less than 1 hour. He joined and was like spurking the fuck out, and then he left.
Interesting. Hey, okay. Yeah, I have no idea what happened to any of those people. Well, Dev Pike is still kind of around, but I haven't seen him in a while. I talked to him on Discord. I occasionally hear from Dumb once in a blue moon. And Genesis, he shows up whenever he shows up, so I have no idea.
Yeah. Why doesn't does nobody want to join?
Nope, just you. Just you. And I appreciate it. It was nice. We'll get Cassandra on next time to play some 96 Tears. Very good. All right. Well, I'm out of beer and I'm getting tired. Denmark guy, thank you. I'd love this. Man, I'm going to get a neat buck so I can just, work a couple days a week and stream most of the time. But right now, I got to either get some sleep or try to do something. I just, because I got to go back to work tomorrow. So thank you for joining me, Denmark guy. A pleasure as always. And thank you. Thank you, Star. I got the poem. I think it's on my other computer. I'll read my poem next time if I remember, if someone reminds me. And Cassandra will play The Entertainer and Inagata Vida, baby, and 96 Tears. Good suggestions. Thank you, Denmark guy. Thank you, everyone else from before. We talked about rents and this and that, and rich and poor, and Tool, and whatever the hell else we talked about. For now, I'm going to say occupational click out.